come from a place that your ancestors ancestors.
Run from, yeah, run from.
You meant to have a parasitic infection, eating all them dirt cookies for breakfast. How can you call somebody dirty? Back in Haiti at 7:30, everybody munching. It's a dirt cookie luncheon. Everybody is invited on the island to the function. Little Haitian lady, listen here. Y'all eat cats wishing they were here. NBA, we going for the double win. How come you got a slim, thick face with a double chin? And a funny shaped ass that looks like it pregnant? Girl, that's a double sin. It seems like you Tethers are in trouble again. You come from a place that your ancestors run from. You come from a place that your ancestors run from.
Warning. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use, for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
I would include Puerto Ricans and other minorities throughout our country, which have been similarly discriminated against, though not for so long a period of time as Negroes.
Puerto Ricans weren't enslaved. Yeah, this is a problem that stems from slavery. And this compensation, yes, so this compensation is coming to people who were enslaved by the white man for 400 years. The Puerto Ricans don't even fit into this picture.
Well, they do fit into it.
No,
the
problem is the Negro problem. They're not lynching Puerto Ricans.
If a dark-skinned Puerto Rican went down to Mississippi, he probably would be lynched too.
Spanish, he wouldn't be lynched.
No, they don't.
It's the Negro here, and as long as he can speak Spanish or some other language, or if he ties his head up with a turban or something, he can go anywhere in Mississippi or in your home that he desires.
You're not aware of the fact, are you, that African students have been arrested in our demonstrations in the South?
When they
speak French.
When they have been mistaken for the so-called Negro in America, they've been arrested.
What?
What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you hit that like, share, and hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations, as well as clicking the other link, joining the Telegram group to help circumvent the shadow banning that PewTube has been doing within the new black media. With that being said, family, last time on these tethers in our FBA business. Let's go here.
This is my friend Godfrey, and he's going to talk to you about being Nigerian Black American. So you better be nice, and you better pay attention. Go on, Godfrey.
Let me tell you something, man. I'm Nigerian American. That's what I am. I never say that I'm Black American and foundational Black American, okay? I've always said I was Nigerian American. I've been doing comedy 20-some years, and I've always said I'm Nigerian American. You know the jokes about my dad, talking about he sound like Mufasa. I've been saying this on Comic View, on Comedy Central. I've been saying, I say it all the time. I'm Nigerian. That's how come you guys know. Oh, Godfrey ain't foundational Black American. You know how you know? Because I'm the motherfucker that said it. I said I was Nigerian American. You're spewing information that I said to you. Whoever made that one comment said, yo, he needs to stop calling. First of all, you don't tell me what the fuck I need to do, all right? I do whatever the fuck I want. I have every right to this country. My parents came from Nigeria. It was called the Biafra War. It was a war. They came from war. My sister was born in Nigeria. Me and my brother born in America, raised in Chicago. You understand? They came for a better life. A lot of immigrants, from Koreans to Arabs to Indians, all kind of the same story, can come to America for a better life. It doesn't mean that they're disconnected from their country. I'm 100% Nigerian, but my nationality is American. I don't claim to be foundational Black American. I'm just Black. Because when the police stop us, they don't give a fuck what we are. All right? They don't go, well, leave her alone. She's foundational Black. Well, leave her alone. That's a Nigerian Black. They don't know. It's nigga to them. And I don't give a fuck what country you're in, whether it's England, whether it's South Africa. I don't give a shit. We've all got some sort of white supremacy that has plagued us. And all this fighting with foundational Black Americans, Africa, is all foolishness. Caribbean, it's foolishness. It's like hurt people hurt people. Why don't we get and stick our chest out and save the energy for the people oppressing us? But we fight amongst ourselves because we too pussy to address the real motherfuckers doing this. Enough of this. We all in the same family. Oh yeah, we're all from different parts of the world. Fine. But what is it? What is this silliness? It's foolish, and fuck all of you for like telling me what the fuck I am. And Nigerians that say, oh, you're not Nigerian, you're Americanized, fuck you too. Because I'm proud to be Nigerian. I talk about that. I go visit Nigeria. I got relatives all over Nigeria. So fuck you about that. And there's plenty of Nigerian Americans in America and in London and whatever. We're still Nigerian. You see an Asian person, you automatically call them Asian. They could be born I was born in Australia. You'll still say they're Asian. You respect that. Of an Italian who don't even speak Italian, 10 generations off, you'll go, oh, the Italian guy. But I'm first generation Nigerian and I gotta fucking struggle with this. This shit is corny. Black on black bullshit from all corners of the fucking earth. Enough. Anti-blackness is real. And how are we gonna have anti-blackness among black people? That's some corny ass shit. Enough. Grow the fuck up. Your dumbass question. Yo, Godfrey he don't have foundation. You're spewing shit that I've already told you. That's why you know my information. You understand that? And I probably know way more about black history than most of y'all. Most of y'all learn your black history from social media. I actually read the books. Francis Cress Welsing, ISIS Papers, Destruction of Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams, Dr. Henry Clark, all of Malcolm X's speeches, Toni Morrison, Zora Neale Hurston. What you want me to do? Stokely Carmichael, What do you want me to do? AKA Kwame Ture, who came to my college. Francis Cress Welsing came to my college. I go see Minister Farrakhan in Savior's Day since I was 18 in Chicago at the Mosque Mariam. I've watched Stokely Carmichael speak. I've watched a lot of different people. So what are you all talking about? Measuring people's blackness. You niggas need to cut that shit out. This is nigga shit. And I don't like to use that word, but we're all doing nigga shit. I don't give a fuck if it's Caribbean, whether it's foolish. We all come from the same cloth. I don't give a damn. We look the same. Okay? We all look the same. If we were all just quiet, people would be like, there's a bunch of black people there. Enough is enough, man. Fuck out of here.
All right, family. Yeah, I had to replay that because I needed to remind you what we were here to do today. I said this, I think it was Thursday. Was it Friday? I think it was Friday. On Friday, I said this, and I said it with my whole damn chest. Anybody running around here calling Godfrey a writer needs to just be discarded at that point in time. Right? Godfrey is not a writer. Godfrey is somebody who uses our culture, and then when he gets called out for the nonsense that he be talking, then he come back and try to get in our good graces by talking about all the good things that we've done in this country. But it always goes back to the very same point that it started with: disrespect. And Godfrey is good at disrespecting foundational Black Americans, throwing rocks and hiding his hands. So today, family, I'm going to need y'all to share this out as much as you can, whatever platform you can share this out on, because we're going to put an end to this Godfrey a writer nonsense, number one. Number two, we're also going to put an end to the fact that these people love to go around talking about Africans wasn't selling other Africans, and if they were being forced to sell each other. I'm going to bring scholarship and documentation here today to show you that that is a bull stuff lie. And I'm going to try to keep it real civil here today. I'm going to try to keep it real civil. I'm going to try to make sure I don't throw out too many curse words unless it's warranted. So let's get into it. But before we do, let me go ahead and scroll. 1 second here. Let me pull this down. All right, let me go ahead and scroll on up. A B1 salute and a shalom to our good sister, Hurricane Nisi, in the building. Shalom, and thank you for being here, my sister Queen. As always, much love to you, much love to you. As well as our sister, Mrs. C. Phillips Davis, in the building. As well as our sister Sybil in the building. As well as our good brother Crew Reality in the building. Much love to each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Our good brother Reparations Nation is in the building. A. Jones is in the building. Trey Parks is in the building. Our brother Reef is in the building. Our good brother Breeze Omega is in the building. Phoenix is in the building. Much love to each and every one of you, and thank you all for being here. Our good sister Priscilla Taylor is in the building, and our good sister Patricia A. Jones is in the building. Much love to the both of you, and thank you both for being here. Poetically in Motion is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Like I say, I love that name. Shout out to our good sister Mrs. L in the building. Shalom to you, my sister Queen, and thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure, always a pleasure. Only Us is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. The Ruby Runner is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. Classy K is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family. King Younglin is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family. And I hope I said your name correctly. If I didn't, put the correct pronunciation in the chat for me, family. Our brother AO is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family. Make sure we got everybody. Our family Rael is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family. I love you more, my sister. I love you more. Our good brother Legit Hustle is in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, family, as well as Claude, Nilly, Francis, Amos in the building. Much love to you and thank you as always for being here, because just your name alone gives me energy. Claude, Nilly, Francis, Amos, four of my favorite people. Now, I appreciate you. Shelly's in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here, as well as our sister Key Prince is in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here as well. With that being said, family, let's jump on into it. So I played that clip again because we're going to go back over, because like I said, at this point in time, we've been speaking about the Tether sympathizers and the Tether escorts. But at this point in time, I don't like the fact that we're giving a blank card to somebody who is now showing himself to be a Tether, who's been escorting other Tethers into our culture, into our conversations, all because people claim him to be a writer. So he feels like he has the right to speak on us. He feels he has the all-out mitigated gall given by God to speak on us. And the fact of the matter is, he doesn't. I don't give a damn where you grew up. If you are not FBA, if you're not foundational Black American, you should be keeping your mouth closed on foundational Black American issues. You should be keeping your mouth closed on foundational Black American politics. You should be keeping your mouth closed on foundational Black American culture, lineage, heritage, anything. If you're speaking about foundational Black Americans and you are not a foundational Black American, you, sir or madam, are out of place. You're out of place. Now, some people may not like it. Some people really, really hate it. But guess what? It does not change the facts. And the fact is, you have no right to speak on us. Period. Point in black. So, with that being said, I wanted to play this clip again, like I said, because of the fact I wanted to then go into what this lady, London Hughes, have been doing ever since Godfrey made this videotape with her in the front seat, all, co-signing and stuff like that, right? So right after, there was a huge backlash on London. Why? Because London then felt like she can go out there and tell all of us, and shout out to our good sister Cooking with Miss D in the building. She thought that she was going to tell us that our culture would not be our culture if it wasn't for everybody else's culture, whether in the Caribbean or in Africa. Without African or Caribbean culture, Black Americans wouldn't have any culture. And of course, you know what happened. The family got on her head, that big ass forehead as it will, and trust me, it can hold the whole family. All 53 million of us can stand right there on London's forehead. But we got on her head, and we made sure that she was, ostracized in the way that she was supposed to be. So much so that she removed the original video that she did. So now I'm going to show you clips of it because I got to go through the certain people that was checking her in order to even get small portions of the clip because she deleted it. But let's get into it, shall we? Shout out to our good brother, Leonard Yuta in the building. Much love to you, my good brother, and thank you for being here. Oh yeah, Tethergeddon begins today. Oh, it's been going on. It's just about to get a lot hotter than it was. This is about to be Tether hell today. Let's get into it. Shout out to Build OG Blocks in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as our good brother Still Kevin Trees in the building. Now, let's get into some of these situations here. Hold on. Let me move that because that's after which. Let's start here.
Bro, this is a tether, right? This is a tether? I don't know.
Wait a second. I was wrong. Let's start here.
Negative. For example, Black British culture is made up of Caribbean people and African people, and it's not a bad thing. There is no such thing as Black British culture without African people and Caribbean people, and there is no such thing as Black American culture without African people and Caribbean people.
What I'm hearing her say is she doesn't think that Black American is a unique ethnic group, because if she's drawing parallels between Black American culture and Black British culture and basically saying that those are the same concepts, then that means that she does not view Black American people as a unique ethnic identifier, because Black British is only made up of African and Caribbean immigrants. There is no, at least not as far as I know, there is no foundational Black British people who have been there since the inception of Great Britain. At least I don't know. If it is, then I could be wrong and I admit to being wrong. But in the United States, it's different, because if for her to say that there is no Black American culture without Africans and Caribbeans, that's just not true. You cannot convince me that Black Africans, Caribbeans, and Black British people do not view Black Americans as random, generic, stateless, and nameless Africans. We are just like, I really think that they don't see us as a unique ethnic identifier. They don't view us the same way that they view Haitians, Jamaicans, Brazilians, Nigerians, Ghanaians, whoever else. They view those as true ethnic identities. They view us as random, generic, stateless, nameless Africans. You can't convince me that that's not how they view us. They have to.
As in, Black culture is only Black American culture. And this is so xenophobic, guys. It's just we're just doing xenophobia debates. Like, it's so weird to me. The reason why it's xenophobic is because there is no such thing as just Black culture in terms of it being just for Americans. There's no such thing as being Black as in it being just for Americans. And if you believe that Americans are more superior than the rest of the diaspora, and you're being xenophobic.
This has nothing to do with superiority. I mean, and to be honest with you, like, if a bunch of Black Americans were to go over to Nigeria and start calling our Black American culture Nigerian culture, and saying that there is no Nigerian culture without Black Americans, don't you think that they would find that to be offensive? Because hello, what are you talking about? That's a more equal comparison than trying to compare Black Americans to Black British. It's not the same thing, because we're not immigrants. We're not coming from somewhere else. We don't have a family history in another country. That's the difference. And I honestly, y'all, since when did everybody want to be classified as Black? I could have swore like 25, 30 years ago, it was offensive to call somebody who wasn't Black American Black. Everybody wanted to go by their country name: Nigerian, Ghanaian, Haitian, Jamaican, Brazilian, whatever. Nobody wanted to be Black. Now, all of a sudden, in the last 10 years, all of a sudden, now it's just a blanket term for everybody that's brown, everybody that has brown skin. Like, when did that happen? When did this transition happen, and why did it happen? I'm really confused, because I remember a lot of people being offended when we used to classify them as Black. So we said, okay, y'all are not Black. You're just what you are. Now, all of a sudden, you want to be Black? Y'all don't know what the hell y'all want.
Negative. For example, Black British culture is made up.
Family, they know what they want. They want to destiny swap. That's what it is. Think about the logic in what this woman said, right? Your culture doesn't just belong to you. Go and tell that to an Asian. Go and tell that to them Caribbean folks. You know, Michael B. Jordan, when he wanted to do that Jorvay drink and whatnot, and y'all was all over the fence and all tripping out, talking about that as a Caribbean word. You leave our culture alone. Go and say that to the Hindi, the Indian. Let's be very clear. What she said was simply just stupid. A community that builds culture, that culture belongs to that community, period. I can't go over to China and dress up like a Chinaman and try to steal their heritage, lineage, and culture while calling myself Chinese. No, they're going to call me an American. They're going to put me on the first thing smoking back to America. Excuse me. And if they don't put me on the first thing smoking back to America, they're going to try to lock me all the way up and throw away the key. Or I might just disappear some damn where. You're not going to go to anybody else's homeland and then tell them your culture isn't just yours. The only people y'all try that with is us. And because we put a stop to it, y'all out here crashing the hell out. But let's continue. I want you to hear the rest of the family. Well, not the rest of the family, because it was a lot of them, but I want you to hear just a few more.
Give me right or wrong in the comments if y'all. Bro, this is a tether, right? This is a tether. I don't know. Give me right or wrong in the comments if y'all. You know what I'm saying? But this lady literally said in our face that if you say that Black American culture is only for Black Americans, then you are crazy, because Black American culture is for everybody else. Bro, what? Like, another thing is, don't you ever disrespect Malcolm X. Don't you ever get him out his lane, bro, because Malcolm X is Black American, period. That's done. Don't you ever disrespect our culture or history, bro. That's period. On God. Like,
shout out to our sister M. Flower Noy in the building. She says, I suggest we ignore these weirdos. And I would too. That was one of the things that my first suggestion. But at the same time, I started realizing that they're getting put into an algorithm. And if we're not correcting these people, that algorithm's going to push that same frame of thinking out to all of the world. So everybody around the world would think that this is okay to do as long as it's okay to do against a foundational Black American. So that's why I feel like we need to take at least the time out to call these people out and to show everybody that we don't agree with none of their talking points, nor will we allow it to survive. We're going to put a dead into it. We're going to stick a nail right through the middle of it and put it right in the hell before it even gets off the ground. So, you know, I do understand what you're saying, but we do have to make sure that our voices are being heard over these people. Otherwise, other people who hear these people will then take on the same type of thought process. But much love to you, my sister Queen, and thank you for being here, and thank you for that comment. Also, let me give a B1 salute to our good brother William in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, family, as well as our sister Starte Jones in the building. Much love to you, my sister Queen. Thank you for being here as well. Let's let them continue.
how you want to be us so bad, how you want to be in our culture so bad, but you want to disrespect our culture. Like, bro, move. And then you a person from London trying to be one of us. Like, bro, what, bro? Like, our culture, our history don't have nothing to do with you. First of all, you're not even full London. You're a whole African, or your mom or your dad are Africans, and they moved to London. You're not even from London. You're just African. Like, bro, I'm really just tired of these people just saying something just so dumb, bro. Like, disrespecting everything. Like, bro, we gave y'all rap. That wasn't enough. We gave y'all freaking, what else? Streetwear clothes. That wasn't enough. We gave y'all sneakers. That wasn't enough. Like, dang, move, bro. What else you want to take? Soul food? Like, move. Like, bro, these people get on my nerves, bro. These people from the UK and these people from Africa, bro, get on my nerves, bro. All they want to do is just beat us. But you can't be us. And another thing is that this lady said, if all our skin is dark skin, then we all black. Look, hold on. First of all, the color black or the word black came from here, the Americas or the United States. Then it wasn't nowhere else. It was only here in the Americas or the United States. Y'all are not black, bro. Yes, you're right. You're a African. Like, bro, man, these people need like history lessons or something like that, or just get out our lane. Just move. Like, damn. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, y'all want to be us so bad. Want to be in our culture so bad. Move. Bro, this is a
And I'm actually glad they've been doing this. I'm glad Godfrey is showing himself for who he is. I'm glad everybody that he's bringing along with him is showing themselves for who they are, because they're proving our point more than we need to. Every time one of these tethers open up their damn mouth, they're really garnering more people who don't want nothing to do with them. Because we're seeing, I don't have to force anybody to see what you are as a tether. All I got to do is explain to them what a tether is if they don't know already, and then let them just sit back and watch all of yous and see if you fall into that lane. And right now, guess what? So many people are watching these tethers fall into the lane, and we're not forcing them to see them that way. I didn't force anybody to see Shabuzi as the tether that he is. He just got up there and started talking. I'm not going to force anybody to see the tether that Godfrey is, but here today, I'm just going to show you, and you can make up your own decision, make up your own mind, come to your own conclusions. We're basically just going to, go through some of the experiences and some of the things he has said. It'll be sort of like the scientific method, right? You have a hypothesis, and then you come to a conclusion by experimenting. And we don't even have to experiment because this guy has already did all the talking. So we're just going to be going over what this man has said, and then we can come to a conclusion scientifically on whether or not this man is a tether and a tether escort. Tethers escorting tethers. Let's go here. Let's go here. This is London trying to insert herself once again into Black culture.
Also, one thing about me you're gonna have to learn very quickly is I'm Black British, but I'm heavy on the black. Black first, British second. And being Black to me means everybody Black. It means Black Brits, Black Americans, Black Jamaicans, Black Africans, Black Chinese, Black Australians, Black Germans, everybody Black. I'm Black first, British second. And so I can't really relate to people that are Black second. For example, if you're Black American and you're telling me I'm not Black because I'm not from America, well, that means you're American first and you're Black second. And
do you hear the logic of these fools? You see, this is why it is very important to nip it in the bud. The only people that has always been Black first, she is now trying to say we're not Black first because we're Americans. And we're making sure everybody understand that when we say you are not Black American, you are not a part of foundational Black American history, lineage, and customs, culture, or anything else, they start coming with all this idiocracy. Oh, you're not, if you're telling me I'm not Black because I'm not from America, then you're not Black first. No. We're telling you the absolute truth. We're telling you something that cannot be waived. It cannot be turned over. Why? Because that Black situation, like the young brother said, started right here in America. Say it loud. I'm Black and I'm proud. Black is beautiful and beautiful is always Black. And let me also give a shout out to our sister Nita that talked about the Black struggle when she sung, Strange Fruit. If you don't have that type of background, then no, you are not Black here in America. You are Nigerian here in America. Now, your racial category may be Black, but we're not talking about racial categories. We're talking about ethnic categories, big B versus little b. Race, little b, versus ethnicity, big B. And since you guys couldn't understand this or pretended not to understand this, this is why the term foundational Black American had to be implemented. Just to let you folks know that we are the foundation of not just America, but Blackness globally, because none of you was claiming us. No matter what we did for you guys throughout history, you still othered us. So you don't get to come back now and try to make it seem like, oh, well, I'm talking about everybody, Black Caribbeans, Black Jamaicans, Black Africans, Black Europeans. When none of you were calling yourselves Black until quite literally 3 years ago. We still have clips of all of you from different cultures all around the world saying, I'm not Black, I'm Nigerian, I'm not Black, I'm Caribbean, I'm not Black, I'm Dominican. It wasn't until after y'all saw the loss of Kamala Harris that all of a sudden you guys started really gravitating towards that Black situation. Then when Trump got in office and he started doing what he was doing with the ICE, freezing up America, y'all started claiming more and more Black and stopped claiming y'all homeland more and more as well. And why is that? Because at this time, it behooves you more to claim Black culture than it does to claim Nigerian culture, than it does to claim Ghanaian culture, than it does to claim Malian culture, than it does to claim South African culture, than it does to claim Caribbean culture. Our culture is a freaking umbrella right now, keeping y'all from getting rained on. And FBA, we walking around snatching umbrellas from people like, nah, this don't belong to you. And y'all don't like it because y'all feeling the rain. Continue.
I can't relate to that. I don't know what that feels like. I've always been black first. I can't relate to people that put the country that oppressed their ancestors first and their race second. That's like me being British first and black second. No, black first, British second. And I'm rooting for everybody black. That includes you. Happy Thursday.
Now notice she didn't mention that she was Nigerian. She said she's black first, British second. That Nigerian must have disappeared in the thin air, didn't it? Completely skipped over Nigerian. Completely skipped over Nigeria. Tell you these people, all you can do is really laugh at these folks because the patheticness is just hilarious. It is quite literally hilarious. Shout out to Claude, Nilly, Francis, Amos. Thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, good brother. Tethers say, FBAs, we're taking your culture whether you like it or not. We know we have a colonizer's mindset that they do know, meaning we have to devalue you to justify stealing from you. But we're fleeing cowards. Much love to you. You are absolutely correct in that statement, family. That's exactly how they look at it. They have to try to bring us down in order to make us feel bad enough in order not to want to not take up for our lineage, to want to not argue with them back and forth. That's why, and this is what I'm really, really coming to realize on some other things. Yes, these people are energy vampires, but they're trying so hard to drain you of all your will to fight back. That's why they keep coming out saying some of the most buffoonish stuff that people, tend to just look at and laugh like, if you believe that, you're stupid in the head. But they're doing it in order to drain us of our energy. And if our energy is drained, our will is drained. So if we don't have the will to even go and correct these tethers, guess what? Then that tether will now bring in another tether with that mindset and gift them that mindset. This is what we're seeing here. These folks coming with the most buffoonish stuff that I've ever heard. And some of the times I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to address that. And yesterday, I had to address the video because the Most High put it on my heart. He said, you can't let that go. That's stupid to let go. I'm going to need you to put that in the queue. And I said, okay, all right. And then I realized, oh, that's what they want. They want us so drained that we're not going to go out there and correct them. They want us so drained that we just say, damn it, just ignore them and they'll go away. But because they won't. They won't go away. They will continue to be inside of our spaces. They will continue to push a narrative that is untrue. They will continue because that is their goal. They're trying their hardest to take from us. Much love to our good brother for that contribution. Thank you very much. Shout out to Fabio in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, as well as our sister Cherish in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here, as well as J.M. Bond in the building. Much love, Mr. Doom. Thank you all for being here. Now, let's go here. Like I said, this woman, now that I explained that, and the Most High didn't put it on my heart and my head, that these folks are just trying to drain us so that we won't fight back. Now, seeing all of these goddamn clips, it's dawning. It rises like the sun and hits you right in the face. Pause.
Try not to see it as appropriation. see it more as admiration, because that's basically what it is. You need to understand that America itself, American culture in every facet, has basically been thrown all over Europe. Like, they literally piped American culture into us all over Europe. And as a black person living in Europe looking for identity, and we've got American culture shoved down our throats, we're going to grab onto the American culture that looks the most like us, which is black American culture. And so you'll see black Brits that idolize and admire black American stars, black American music, black American clothing, black American way of speaking, because literally Americana was literally pushed down our throats. Like, it's everywhere. You can't go to Europe without turning on the TV and seeing some aspect of American culture, or turning on the radio and seeing some aspect of American culture, or walking into a clothing store and seeing some aspect of American culture. And so as a black person, we're just looking for something that we can relate to, and it's black American culture. So all that to say, we didn't appropriate the electric slide and call it the candy dance. We just saw black people from America dancing a dance. We didn't know the name of it, and they danced it to Cameo Candy, and we admired the culture, and so we started doing it too, and we called it the candy dance. I don't even know why or how this started, because this is before my time. I've been doing the candy dance since I was a kid. I assume.
So basically what you're explaining is you saw something that foundational black Americans was doing, and you colonized it and changed the name to it. Oh, we didn't know the name. You don't have to know the name. You just know that that is a foundational black American dance. Why would you then try to mimic that dance and then create a name for it? Why didn't you ask anybody what's the name of that dance? Why didn't you research what's the name of that dance? You're not that old, okay? I'm assuming. So it's very easy to look up on the internet, what is this dance called that African Americans are doing? And the electric slide would have came up. It's in the very same way that, god dang it, we out here doing line dances and stuff like that. Now people in Kenya want to do line dances and put on country music concerts and say that this is not a foundational black American genre because they saw white people doing some of it too. It is colonizing. And you people are running and doing after, well, not really after, but you're following along and mimicking what you see from your Nabisco Zaddy. And I know that's what you're doing, because you've already admitted that you guys, you love your Nabisco Zaddy. Oh yeah, let's go here. This is Laura. Excuse me. This is London. This is London Hughes. And watch what she says when asked about who are black women in the UK dating.
We're dating white guys. Both my ex-boyfriends in the UK were white. I will tell you the type of white, like liberal white men. Like if you watch Love is Blind UK, Benaya, I was dating Benayas, and dating Benayas was great. They treat you very well compared to my other option, which was not dating at all, because the black men in my circles weren't checking for me. They were very much exclusively only dating white women, and they let me know. And two, the black men that I did date, some of them had internalized racism. There was things about my blackness they didn't like. So, for example, I'm not seen as attractive in the UK. Yeah, I'm not, I mean, I'm all right, but I led with my personality more because I just didn't think I had the looks, and it was black men telling me that I didn't have the looks. Like some of the worst names I've ever been called ever in my life have been from black British men. So I remember I dated a black guy, and he wouldn't like it if I took off my wigs at night to sleep. He wanted me to sleep with my wig on because he didn't like my 4C hair. And I would date like white guys, like liberal white guys that, you know, at times when I'm too tired, would take my wig off for me and put on a wig stand and brush it out. So yeah, I think that black British women have decided to just go where we're wanted and where we're adored. And if that's white men, it's white men. And love is love and be happy. But yeah, I noticed, and we kind of all noticed that like a lot of black men in the UK have a preference, and it's not us. But since moving to America, I've only ever dated black men. And I want to thank, again, America, sorry to be up your ass, but I didn't think I was cute until I moved here. Like, oh my God, I get approached by black men here, and I get to date black men here for the first time in my adult life. I'm dating black men. So yeah, it's nice to be adored by your own kind. And that's never really happened for me in the UK. And a lot of dark-skinned women feel that way because, like I said, the type of a lot of black men in the UK is white women or racially ambiguous, and I am neither. So yeah, we're dating white guys. Yeah, love is love. Date who you want. All right, I'm going out. Have a good night. We're dating white guys.
Did y'all catch all that, family? Did you catch all that? Let me break down some of that for you if you didn't catch all that. I'm pretty sure you guys did because you guys are advanced. You know, we don't have the slow kids here today. So, for the people that don't understand, let me clear some things up for you. She just basically proved exactly what we've been saying about these gender wars that's going on here, right? That it is foreigners bringing their little gender warring situations over here into America and then trying to, spread it amongst the United States and say that it is black culture, it is black people. She just proved that no, it is her own people who wasn't rocking with her in the UK. She had to come to the home of black love. She had to come to the home of black love. Let me say that one more time, like Umar. She had to come to the home of black love in order to in order to feel attracted. Now she can date black men over here. Black men has welcomed her. Black men has called her attractive. Black men like her over here. She had to get away from the UK black man, which is the UK Nigerian, the UK Ghanaian, the UK Malian, or whatever else they came from in the UK. Those are her African men who wasn't rocking with her. And she came over here, and all of a sudden, the black men over here was like, hey, you're kind of cute. You know what I mean? You got a little forehead, but, I could deal with a little forehead. Come on over here and give me a kiss, boo. Do you see why they love our culture so much? Do you see why they try to insert themselves so much? They see in our culture things that they don't see within their own damn cultures. We do things in a way that no other black melanated person around this globe does it. And we look at blackness differently than everyone else around this globe who is melanated. Now tell me I'm wrong. You can't. Because we've always shown it. Our whole history in this country is about us showing it. Before she got to experience that black love, we were showing it to each other. Yeah, family. Yeah. So what these people are basically saying to us is that our culture is better because they see themselves in our culture more than they see themselves in their own. Now, moving on to the next situation here. Like I said, Godfrey will come out and say something disrespectful. He'll get called out, and then he'll go out and say a bunch of stuff to try to get black folks back on his side, and it works from time to time. Things like this.
I think we should have our own thing and stop going to these things. Start getting validation for these motherfuckers. It's the same thing with the food industry. They don't want to give a Michelin star to Tatiana, which has been killing it in New York City. It's because it's a Nigerian-owned. They don't want to give a Michelin star.
They probably don't want to give it a Michelin star because it tastes, smell, and calls you to poop. I've seen Nigerian food. Maybe that looks a little bit better, but from what I've seen, all their food looks like poop in some sort of way or form. Whether it is the soups that look like soft poop or whether it is the meats that looks like goddamn cow poop. Like, I've seen this with my own eyes, so I don't think that it's just because it's a Nigerian restaurant. I do believe that it's 9 times out of the 10 because of the fact that it is not aesthetically pleasing, nor is it appetizing. But continue.
Why are white people telling us about how good food tastes when your food is bland? Why aren't the food experts black? Our taste buds, if black people like something is good, it's really good. If a white person says something's good, I don't trust it. What the this is ridiculous. I just think, and anybody white that is really twisting what I'm saying, then don't off. Don't listen to what I'm saying. This is a humanity thing. This is an exhaustion thing. This is something where we're tired. Isn't this race thing is so tiring? So tiring, man. It's the same shit every year. We got to make.
You know, this race thing is very tiring. But you know who never crack, who never folds? Foundational Black Americans. And we've been in the belly of the beast since its inception. You see, you have a luxury that we didn't have. Your people comes from a place where race isn't the case. Now, your colonized minds are, but your country don't have to worry about race. Why? Because Nigeria is full of Nigerians. So if it is so tiresome to you, let me give you a suggestion. Go home. Just go home. And that way you won't have to deal with the issues of race. And I'm not saying anybody should have to deal with the issues of race, but let's just call a spade a spade. If it is that tiring, if you are that upset, why haven't you gone back to Nigeria? I remember y'all had Nollywood popping. Whatever happened to Nollywood? Why don't you go out to Nigeria and create an award show for Nigerians there? Why don't you create a food award? It won't have to be a Michelin star. Why don't you call, I don't know, a Niger star, a Nigerian star? I don't know. But see, here's the difference between you and I. I grew up in my own country, and yes, I have to deal with race. But that's because we continuously fight race here. Go ahead, continue.
Speeches, we count. We want a seat at the table. The table. We got enough wood to build our own table. This is what I'm saying. And I really feel like we don't have enough value in ourselves. We think we can't do it. And I know we can do it. We got all these great minds. We got billionaires. We got millionaires. We got enough Black people. We got we have the African continent. We got Caribbeans and all the sellout Black women and men. Them. We have enough people that love themselves where we can pull our shit together and stop going.
Then why haven't the continent got together to do these things? You're preaching to the choir. You can't be preaching to the choir. You got to turn around and preach to the people in the pews. The choir already knows what to do. We've been singing that song. Hey, if we all get together, we can build globally and we can actually really topple over this white supremacist system. It has been the Caribbeans that's been our opposition. It has been the Africans that's been our oppositions. And the cold part about it is y'all not our oppositions when we're over there helping y'all out. Y'all only are oppositions when y'all come here to America. Shout out to Beatrice in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Ain't no we. You're not FBA. Absolutely. Shout out to our sister Aquarius Minded in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. And shout out to Kimberly in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as well. Now, I don't think I'm going to let this dude continue. Let's get into the gist of it. Let's get into why we're here. Like I said, he'll talk like that as if we all need to be one. He'll talk like that as if he needs to be the person explaining what foundational Black Americans have already been going around explaining. And then he turns into this person like he needs a cookie for explaining what we've already explained. He needs a cookie for telling the truth and not telling a lie. He needs a cookie. Don't you know? Shout out to Azure Nimble Nimbus in the building. Much love to you. And thank you for being here as well, family. I always love that Nimbus name. But let's get over here because, like I said, he escort one tether in. He goes off about what we need and we need to get together and he's so tired of this racist stuff. This race is so draining and yada, yada, yada. And then he introduced another tether into the mix. He always do it. That is the way it goes. Tether, talk nonsense. Then he starts speaking the positive things in order to get the sweet nothings into many foundational Black Americans' ears. They start saying he's a rider. Then he brings in and escort another tether. And then they say some stupid stuff. They get caught out again. He plays good cop, where he's sitting there saying, you know, Black Americans, they're the only ones. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. You know, they created every damn thing. They do every damn thing. And some FBAs hear that and be like, okay, cool. He's still a rider. You know, he's a rider. And then you turn around and bring another tether in to do the same process over and over again. So let's get over to this next process, shall we? The next tether. And I'm going to need you guys to hit that like button. Hit that like button. If you ain't subscribed, hit that subscribe button too. Let's talk about this 154 Africa podcast. You know, the podcast that's named 154 Africa because of all the countries within Africa, 54 countries, but they're never talking about Africa. Yeah, they're always talking about foundational Black Americans. It should be called One Black American Podcast, but you can't call it that because you're not a Black American. So that's, yeah. This tether here is a former football player. I don't even remember his name. It's not even worth thinking about. But this is his co-host for this 154 Tether podcast. Let's hear what he had to say about FBA. Shout out to Factamia's Prime in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here.
Because I think it is the most separatist term coined back in 2019 by Tariq Nasheed. And Tariq Nasheed coined this term, and maybe he had good intent because it's like, hey, how do we separate when it comes to reparations and being able to say, hey, this belonged to the Black slaves that came to America and their descendants. And I get that. I get and understand that concept. But what it does, it furthers this idea of separation. Yeah. And I think back again to childhood and the stuff that even as an adult, like I'm not African, I'm anything but African, right? I got Indian in my blood. I'm Creole. I'm anything but African. And so when you say foundationally Black American, it's like, yes, I can say I'm foundationally Black American and I am not you. I'm like, no, because like my father used to tell me, I don't know what all these fuss is about. Daddy sent people. You guys are brothers. Yeah. And then like my dad said, y'all, man, we ain't your brother. We ain't African booty scratchers. No, but we look alike. No. Yeah. All right, man. All right, cool.
Well, this came into
Sorry, family, have my mic muted. Now, before we get into what Godfrey had to say, I just want to say this. It's amazing that all of a sudden, all of their parents are now saying, I don't know what all this is fighting is about. You all are brothers. Y'all are brothers. When was this? I had one African in my community growing up. When I lived in Los Angeles, after I left Watts, I went over to South Central. And speaking of which, shout out and Watts up to our good brother Gary Williams in the building. Much love to you, my brother. Once I moved from Watts, I moved to 92nd and Barron Cross, right across the street from Bret Harte Middle School. My next door neighbor was the only African around. And he married a foundational Black American sister. Her name, she was my mom's friend. She already had 4 children. So when she married dude, this dude moved in with her and her 4 children. And then they had another baby, and the baby wasn't that old before I ended up leaving again. But she already had children. Do you know this African man used to tell Jessica and, well, I ain't going to give out their names. He used to tell them the foundational Black American kids to stay away from foundational Black American kids. Stay away from those kids out there. They ain't no, they mean you no good. They ain't no, you don't understand like I understand. And shout out to Betty, their mama. She was like, no, nigga, shut up. Y'all kids go play. Y'all kids go play. And that's my first experience with an African. Was a man named Ernest. That was my first time ever being introduced to fufu. Because that man would make it religiously every Friday. Every Friday he would make it. We're in the den playing the game, and all of a sudden we're just hearing smash, smash, smash. We're like, what the hell is going on? And Jay would be like, oh, Ernest in the kitchen making fufu. I didn't know what the hell fufu was. I'm like, what is fufu? So I go and walk by the kitchen, and I saw him eating. Right. It's I don't know if it's raw, but it is crushed up corn or something like that, right? But it's mushy. It's very mushy. And it got like a cheese pull to it. When you pull the fufu apart, it got a cheese pull. But I digress. Fufu Fridays. I digress. That fufu looked horrible. The food smelled horrible. And then he never used his damn utensils. I grew up using my utensils. If my grandparents saw me eating with my hands and it wasn't a piece of chicken, my grandpa kicked me in the back. And it ain't gonna be that hard. I don't want people thinking my grandfather was abusive. He'll do one of those foot nudges in my back because we used to eat on the floor as children when there was no room at the table. So he'll see anybody eating with their hands and it's not chicken, he'll go right over there and nudge you with his foot. Like, what you doing? You better use those damn utensils. That's what they're there for. This is not Africa. And I never understood that until I saw Ernest eating that fufu with his hands, pulling that damn fufu apart looking like cheese. And I'm like, what the hell? And then he dipped it into some green mush. And then he just sopped it up with his fingers and just started sucking on his phone. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? Anyway, I digress. Since when did African parents start saying you guys are brothers? All of a sudden, now that they're being called out all across the board and they're getting kicked out of all these other countries, now it went from, oh, our parents told us to stay away from you guys, to our parents saying, you are the brothers. What is going on here? All right, Godfrey, get into it.
When reparations was being considered, when reparations came in, they're like, how much is Black Americans owed? It had to be codified. Right. They're owed a lot. They deserve a lot. The inventions in America are damn near all Black. Let's just keep it 100. All the stuff that people are using, from the doorknob to the escalator to the elevator to medical devices to pacemakers to GPSs to helicopter. We can just keep going. People are using it because a lot of the white inventors were able to steal patents, like Thomas Edison stole patents.
Now, family, notice what I said. This is what they do. This is what he does. So his homeboy just sat there. I don't like the foundational Black Americans, and Tariq Nasheed coined it, and I understand why, but it just become the most divisive thing, more divisive than Akata. You guys are on the other side of the world with a derogatory term for us, and you want to talk about divisive? But instead of checking that and letting him know, hey, you might not like it, but that's not your choice to like, because it doesn't have nothing to do with us. That's their lineage. If they want to call themselves the Pink Sky Monkeys, guess what? We can't do nothing about it. They're the Pink Sky Monkeys after that. If they want to call themselves the Purple Dragons, guess what? We can't say anything about it because that's not our lineage. I guess they're Purple Dragons. No, instead of chopping down what he said and made sure that he understood that that ain't your business to even have a decision on. You can't even have an opinion because it has nothing to do with you, your lineage, your heritage, or culture. Instead of doing that, he got right into that good cop situation, right? Where he starts naming off all the things that we've done in the country and say, yeah, they deserve reparations because they damn near created everything. They damn near do everything. They built everything. That good cop, bad cop nonsense. And then he goes right into some more disrespectful stuff. Shout out to our good sister Angelic in the building, my sister queen. Thank you for being here as always, as well as a law solution in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as always. Shout out to the Shy. Shout out to Zoo Tours in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as always, as well as our sister Shalonda in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as well as our sister Stacy in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here as well. And shout out to Claude, Nelly, Francis, Amos once again for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contributions as always, my good brother. He says he was teased by FBAs, although he never provides proof. Who, where, when, and never condemns the decades of disparaging comments like Akata made by Nigerians about FBAs. Tethers are liars. And I am in 100% agreement with you, my good brother. Thank you again for your comment and contribution. But listen to the next egregious thing that comes out of his mouth.
Patents, they stole all of it. Yep. So they deserve reparations. Foundation, I believe it. 100%. Black Americans, you deserve it. Now, if there's some money left, you can give it to us. We call
No. Hell no. I'm gonna run that back.
So I got. They're gonna come after you. I got called in. Using from the doorknob to the escalator to the elevator to medical devices to pacemakers to GPSs to helicopter. We can just keep going. People are using it because a lot of white inventors were able to steal patents, like Thomas Edison stole patents. Lewis Latimer's patents. They stole all of it. Yep. So they deserve reparations. Foundation, I believe it. 100%. Black Americans, you deserve it. Now, if there's some money left, you can give it to us. We call. So I got. They're gonna come after you. I got called the N-word in my honors English class. What you talking about? Like, I get some money. Don't I get some trauma? I say spread that you say. I get N-word trauma. If there's leftover, unless they were pronouncing Nigeria wrong.
And this is the problem. 1 second, family. 1 second. My apologies, family. Now, this is the problem. This is the problem here. They're telling you exactly the game plan, what they've been trying to do. Yes, we deserve reparations, but reparations is not for racism. And even if it was, you still wouldn't qualify. And let me explain to you why you wouldn't qualify. Because your family made a conscious decision to come to a place where they knew white supremacy had a hold on it and it was racist towards foundational Black Americans. Y'all looked over and said, oh, but they opened the door. They got the door open for us. So let's just go ahead and go on over there. Your family made a conscious decision to come to a country that was outright blatantly anti-Black. That's your fault. That's their fault. I take that back. It's not your fault because you wasn't born yet. However, that's your parents' fault. So no, you do not get a piece of our reparations because you was called the N-word when your family knew that's what they were doing over here before they came over here. It must not have been that big of an issue. And number two, Shout out to our good brother Bernice Brass in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. Number 2. Just the pure idiocracy you have to have in order to say what you said, knowing what reparations is supposed to represent and what it's supposed to do. It is a reparative situation. You are repairing those you have harmed. And by harm, we mean slavery, theft of property, land. We're not talking about being called the N-word to a bunch of people who decided to come to a country that saw that it had slavery, property theft, invention theft, and all other kind of thefts. And not just that, hate speech. And still said, yeah, you know what? They ain't talking about me. Let me go on over there. So no, you don't get reparation. No matter how you spin it, no matter how you see it. And I don't care who says what. Reparations is for the descendants of foundational Black American, aka the American freedmen. If you are not a freedman, if you don't have the bloodline of a freedman, shut the hell up about our reparations. You can't proximity your way into our justice claim. Because that's basically what these people are trying to do. They're trying to proximity their way into our reparations claim. Let's go here, family. Let's go here. My bad, family.
Black Americans, Black immigrants, we're one people. We have, yes, different struggles from different sides of the world, but all together we are united. So, you know, I hope that this discussion really helps to kind of end that.
How the hell are all together we're united when you ain't united on the 54 with the 54 countries on your continent that are right next door to each other? Right next door to each other. How are we all united? And you're not united over there. The Caribbeans aren't united over there. Hell, matter of fact, let's go here, family. 1 second. We're going to take a quick little detour. No, because god dang it, this makes absolutely no damn sense. Is it here? It's not here. All right, well, I had a clip talking about how Haitians are being removed from all these different countries down in the Caribbean. The Caribbean has been purging their islands, sir. So it's not one in the Caribbean. It's not 154 Africa like you named your damn podcast, because everybody is fighting each other. But y'all want to come to America and try to convince us that we're all united and we're all one. No, sir. No. Shout out to our good brother Black RU in the building. Much love to you, as well as our brother Reparations Nation in the building. Much love to the both of you, and thank you both for being here, family. Let's continue.
Yeah. And in some way, maybe in our lifetime, like we were able to see and experience a Black president like Barack Obama and the contributions for so many other Black Americans.
You mean a Kenyan president? A half tether, half white president? A man who did absolutely nothing for foundational Black Americans, but did so much for the LGBTQ, did so much for the police, did so much for Asians, did so much for Israelis, but refused to put any type of protections up for us when we were being unalived left and right under his reign.
Americans that we know about, so many black immigrants who've made contributions. There is enough to go around everywhere for us to be together, and nothing ever takes away from the idea.
And I'm sick of that notion too. The black immigrants that made contributions. What were they contributing to, sir? Something that was already going. So whether they had contributions or not, it really doesn't matter because we were already doing it. We was already in motion. We was already getting things popping. No immigrant had to come and help us in our fight because we was already fighting. That's like jumping in. We're in the middle of building a house. And we didn't build from the foundation to the ground up. And the only thing the immigrant come and do is lay down the doormat and said, hey, I contributed to the building of this house. Nigga, the house was built already. You come lay down some nonsense mat and think that you had a contribution to building the house. No. We are not the same. My bloodline built this country. Your bloodline fled here and put a mat on a damn door that says immigrants welcome. And we're looking down at that right now like, maybe we shouldn't have let him put down that mat. I didn't even notice that mat said immigrants welcome. It just said, I thought it said welcome. I never really looked down. I always go out through the garage. I did not know that this immigrant came and put a goddamn mat that says immigrants welcome at my front door. That's what's happening here. Oh, yeah. Let's let them continue.
That the black Americans who built the foundation and this horrible history in America, that nothing takes away the black foundation that built this country.
No doubt.
And so this conversation is to be additive. It's to be able to highlight that we are diverse in the way we are, in the way we think, in the way we are. The black card, gone away. This idea that there is only a monolith of being black should be gone away because we're so many.
No. Black people aren't monolithic. Especially when our interest doesn't match your interest. A third worlder come into a first world country. A third worlder come into a first world country isn't going to have the same interest as the people in that country. So that's the same thing goes for black Americans. Black Americans ain't going to have the same goddamn interest as someone coming from a third world who is black as well, who have melanated skin as well, as you guys have shown us consistently. When you immigrate over here, you come over here to extract and send back. Y'all don't come over here to be a part of the black community over here. Y'all don't come over here to fight for the issues that we're fighting for over here, which will in turn reverberate around the world. If we kill white supremacy, the system of white supremacy right here in America, guess what happens across the globe? That reverberates. But instead of you guys trying to be, back up to actually, stand on business with us, nah, you come here to, be monolithic. You come here to be in your own enclaves. Right? You come here to stay away from the Akata. You come here to stay away from the Jareer. You come here to stay away from whatever derogatory term y'all have for us at any given time. Miss me with this nonsense. A B1 salute to our good brother John's son in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here and thank you for being a member for 6 months, my good brother. Much love to you and thank you for all your contributions. They all move like this. Is their annex, Peace Church and Family B1. Much love to you, my good brother, and you are absolutely correct. And we're not letting them move like that anymore. And that's what's tearing their ass apart. Pause. That's exactly what's really putting the fire under them. Let's let them continue.
Just like we vary in height and ideas and skin complexion, we're so many. So we should embrace all of Black Americans, Black immigrants.
Nah, we don't have to embrace all, especially those. What sense does it make for a group of people to embrace another group of people who is pushing erasure of that group of people? Everybody Black in America does not have the same interest. So we're not just opening the doors up to anybody because they're Black. My grandfather used to tell me all the damn time, all skin folk ain't kin folk. And I didn't realize what the hell he meant until I met Ernest. I didn't understand until I actually met an African man. And I definitely say, yeah, he definitely ain't our kin folk. Now, I will give you this about Ernest, though. I will give you this. Betty made sure that man stayed fresh. I ain't never went over there and smelled must. I ain't never went over there and smelled booty meat juice. None of that. I every time I went over there, the house smelled divine. But you also have to look at who his wife was, a FBA sister. So, you know, shout out to her for making sure I didn't have to smell that foul ass must of a smell until I got much older. Shout out to Betty, damn it. Saving the kid's life, you know, saving the kid's life. Let's go here, family.
Married man, like, man, I'm fighting outside. I damn sure don't want to come home and have a fight and be fighting on the inside with my family, right? How do we end the fight from within? Is it possible, or is that like, that's never going to end?
I hate to be pessimistic.
Family, 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 family.
We? We.
I think that you mean, how do we end the fight from without? Because you're not within. If you're not foundational Black American, you're not in. You're outside of the club, looking in. So when you're sitting here talking about how do we end this from within, you need to go back to Nigeria and end it from within that culture. And then come back and have a conversation. Until then, yeah, you're outside the club, looking in. Ain't no we. Shout out to Mrs. C. Phillips for this right here. She said, Betty says, Ernest, you're going to get your ass in some water here around here. Real stuff. And shout out to Betty for that, because God dang it. She saved a young brother's nose. She saved a young brother's nose. Shout out to our good brother DSB in the building. My dark-skinned brother, much love to you. Shalom, and thank you for being here. Shalom, church, my warrior brother. I ran into an African in the store in my area, and I straight up told him, stop listening to lies from the white man. He ain't have shit to say, but you're right. Yeah, hey, look, sometimes you can call out the right one at the right time, and they can't do nothing but to say, you know what? You got me. You got me. I know I've been doing that a lot lately. And that might have been heaven sent for him, because he might have said, if I'm listening to the white man too much, Lord, please give me a sign. And here comes the FBA brother like, hey, stop listening to the white man so much. You know what? You are right. You are right, my brother. Shout out to our brother DSB. Now let's get into what this Negro had to say. And I don't know if this dude is a tether or what, but God dang it, I do know this. He ain't like us. Let's go here.
Mystic, it may not be possible in our lifetime.
Nope.
To be honest with you, I'll be 49 years old next month, and so it may not be possible in our lifetime. But here's an example. You two had this thing happen, and you could have just washed past it. You could have just had a conversation. But you said, "Oh, let's bring an expert on who knows racial trauma, who knows history, who knows psychology, and let's unpack it further." Right. Those are the
family. Do anybody know who this man is? I don't know nothing about this man. What makes you an expert? If you wanted an expert, you could have went and got Dr. Joyce DeGruy. You wanted an expert, you could have went and got Dr. Claude Anderson. Hell, Godfrey, you're friends with Tariq. You could have brought Tariq on the platform. But why didn't you? Because you know that all those three people that I just named, and there's so many more. But those three people that I just named would go against everything that you guys are sitting here trying to tether on to. So y'all bring up some random guy and call him an expert. Everything that you guys said would have been not just debunked, but it would have been pointed out as either a fallacy or stupidity if you had any one of those three people that I just named there. If you would have had me there. If you'd have had Black Alpha there. If you'd have had Beatzilla, Jason Black, Vicky Dillard, god dang, Torian Reigns, Kid Gravity. I mean, you know who to bring onto your platform and who not to bring on your platform. I mean, it's just so simple. But go ahead. Let's hear what this quote unquote doctor has to say. Let's see here.
Steps that need to happen, this type of critical thinking where people get a platform to dig deeper in and understand that so many of the truths that we hold as true are not actually true. Yeah. So many things that we've been told about the world. I remember when I lived in Maryland and I was in my 20s, and me and my buddies would go out, and my single buddies would say that this was a huge population of Ethiopian and Eritrean people in the community where we hung out. And they would say that the Eritrean and the Ethiopian girls would tell them, my dad told me I can't date Black Americans because I can never take you home because you're lazy. Now, because some of that have been capped. I don't even know if we say that. Kids still kind of it's on its way out. If I said it, kids ain't saying it anymore. So
notice how he just tried to say, oh, to him, when he said this is what they were telling us. Oh, that's on its way out. It's on its way out. No, Negro. No, Negro. What that does is show that all the nonsense that y'all was just spewing, talking about, we was talking about y'all when y'all was little, y'all was being called African booty scratchers and all this other stuff. What he just said brings a light to what was really happening. Their African parents telling them to stay away from us because we're lazy, this, that, and the third. And this man tried to downplay it by saying that's on its way out. When they're still doing that very same thing today, as we speak here today. Make it make sense.
I don't know.
It used to be you get a cap in your ass.
right. So I can't say whether or not all my boys was lying and that the girl just didn't want to mess with him. But the narrative was there that one of the reasons why these women said they would not date Black, and I'm talking HBCU graduates, I'm talking, good guys. The reason why they would not date them is because their African dads told them, you cannot date a Black American man. And so when we're talking about breaking this cycle, we're talking generations that have to undo this trauma associated. So Dr. Joy DeGruy wrote this book. And so she wrote this.
No, family. I'm not lying to you. This is my first time watching this full clip. I took the title of most of these clips from Godfrey's page on TikTok, and I wanted to do blind reactions to all of these. So I have not watched not one of these, but he just proved my damn point right now. he just brought up, he is quite literally citing Dr. Joyce DeGruy. So why in the world didn't they just get Dr. Joyce DeGruy? Why would you bring on this quote unquote expert who is now quoting an actual expert? Do you see how that worked? You see how the Most High show up and show out? I did not know he was going to say anything about her, but I named off of 3 people who are actually experts in the field that they could have brought on, one of them being Godfrey's friend, Tariq Nasheed. And they would have combated all of this nonsense they were talking. But instead, they get some random guy, calls him an expert, and then he goes on to quote Dr. DeGruy. You see what I'm saying, family? Let's let him continue.
This book called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. It's not a real like PTSD, but it's a thing, right? So she gives this example in one of her lectures. She says, you have 2 moms sitting at a basketball game, a white mom and a black mom, and the white mom looks, and the black mom looks at the white mom and says, you guys must be really proud of Johnny. He's doing a great job. And the black mom and both boys are equally mediocre. Nobody's a rock star. White mom looks back and says, yeah, we're really proud of him. He's doing a great job. And so the white mom looks at the black mom and says, oh, you must be really proud of Kwame. He's doing a great job. And the black mom says, girl, he a mess in school. He got all these girls calling the house. He's doing this, doing that again. Both boys are equally mediocre. Yet the white mom responds in a neutral, non-combative, non-boastful way. The black mom, as Dr. DeGruy describes, begins to demean her equally as good son. Where do you think Dr. DeGruy says that comes from? Slave plantation. When the slave plantation owner would go to the black mom and say, oh, Toby's doing really good out there. He's picking most of the cotton. He's doing excellent. The black mother would say, no, master, he's shiftless. He's lazy, because that mother knew in that moment that master was going to sell her son to another plantation. And so instinctually, she had to begin to talk bad about him, to demean him. And so we're talking enslavement ended in 1865, and these things are still happening today. And so this is the depth with which I'm talking about it. And we only talk about it on this superficial level, like skin bleaching cream is just beauty and that colonialism was just borders. We will never get past it until we begin talking.
Notice how he tried to rope all melanated immigrants into our story and the trauma that Dr. DeGruy speaks about for us. These two have nothing to do with the slave trade. Both of these cats are Nigerian. Both of these cats didn't get here until after the 1960s. What are we talking about? And why are you trying to group them into a syndrome or a situation that only pertains to the children of the formerly enslaved here in America? How and why? And this is why we got to call these things out. These folks think they're smart. You are not smarter than the average bear, boo-boo. I refuse to allow some quote-unquote expert that I ain't never heard of, never seen, but yet he's quoting one of our sister queens. One of our sister queens' writings and works to try to expand it to a bunch of people who don't qualify to the works in which she wrote about. Exactly, Nimbus. Exactly. The Nigerians were slave traders. They were slave traders. So that post-traumatic slave syndrome wouldn't apply to them. They wouldn't even have post-traumatic slave seller syndrome or the slave owner syndrome or the slave trader syndrome. They wouldn't have post-traumatic slave syndrome. I don't even know why this man would bring it up, if not to try to tie other people into it. Shout out to you, Nimbus. Much love to you. And shout out to S. Johnson in the building. Much love to you. And thank you for being here, as well as our sister, Honey Brown Sugar, in the building. Much love to you. And thank you for being here, my sister Queen. Let's let them continue.
Talking about the depths in which it exists, and how it's permeated into our soul. There was an experiment, thinking, and the way we feel, and what we in our DNA. In our DNA. Wow.
There was an experiment they did on some rats, right? These rats in a box. You know, they like to put rats in a box. So they had these rats. These rats would come to this certain line, and they would shock the rats. They would just shock them for months. So every time they hit a certain area of the box, by the edge of the box, they would shock them, and the rats would run back. They did it for months. So the rats had offspring. And then the offspring didn't even go to the line. The offspring, before they got the offspring, would never leave the box. because it was literal it was trauma.
So what Godfrey is describing is this type is what we call epigenetics. Epi is the Latin prefix that means above, and so epigenetics is this program that sits just above your DNA. So like we call it, it's not a modification where it actually changes the DNA. But if we talk about it from a construction standpoint, it wouldn't be me knocking down a wall. It would be me painting over an air conditioning vent. It doesn't change the.
I have to stop this, dude. I'm so over this fake ass expert. Shout out to Big Hair in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for this comment, which is absolutely correct. Nigerians are still selling their people right now. Look it up. The slave trade never stopped for them. Not never. They're still doing it to this day. That's another good question, my sister. Who made this tether an expert? Especially who made this tether an expert in speaking about foundational Black Americans business? I never gave that okay. I know y'all ain't give that okay. I've never seen this man before in my life. Like I said, I know Dr. Claude Anderson. I've seen him several times over. I know Dr. DeGrue, seen her several times over. I know Tariq, seen him several times over. I don't know who the hell this Mr. Potato Head looking mother lover is. So what makes you think I'm going to even give him any type of leeway to speak on our history, lineage, or culture? Shout out to our brother DSB. I lost a lot of respect for this Godfrey dude. No, I'm with you. I used to actually enjoy Godfrey. And now every time I see him, my face cringe.
Structure of the room, but it changes its functionality. We first learned about intergenerational trauma when we saw clinicians looking at their rosters and all their clients were the children of Jewish Holocaust survivors. These kids had never been in the Holocaust. Right. These young adults had never been in the Holocaust, but their parents were. As a result of that, we began to study how can trauma be passed down from a group to a group when that secondary group never actually experienced the trauma. And so what they found was that for these Holocaust survivors, they would go to their grandparents' house and they would have curtains over the balcony. They would tell them, don't tell anybody you're Jewish. Don't let anybody know, because they were literally scared for their lives. That across generations implants on our DNA, like I described, this epigenetics. And when we're talking about these interactions and how we interface with one another, how we interface with others, it's not just about learning. It's about understanding that you deliberately have to make a decision that is different from your automatic thought, because it is ingrained in you to develop separation as a result of years and years and years. When we talk about people who moved from South Carolina to Chicago and passed for white, they weren't self-hating. They just wanted their lineage to live. They just wanted to survive. They knew that people were hanging from trees. My grandfather would see people hanging from trees when he was growing up.
Married man, like, man, I'm fighting outside. I damn sure don't want to come.
Shout out to Mr. Douglas for this comment right here. I am at all. He said, do Nigerians who flee Nigeria pass the trauma of one of a fearful spirit down to their children? This is what we're seeing here, ain't it? You know damn well that's what we're seeing here. Every time we call out Godfrey, what did he do? I'm just a bitch ass nigga. The Black Americans are all good. Y'all built everything here. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be here. So yeah, I would have to say so. Shout out to Mr. Douglas in the building. Much love to you, family. Much love to you. And let me also give a B1 salute to our good sister Mia Kim in the building. Much love to you, my sister queen, and thank you for being here as always. And then also let me give a B1 salute to our brother Big Black God in the building. Much love to you, good brother. Thank you for your Cashapp donation. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. And it's good to see you. I know you've been on the road a lot lately. You be safe out there in those trucking streets, you dig me? Them freight truck streets. Shout out to you, family. Now, let's get into the disrespect that Godfrey had to say as well. More disrespect. Let's go here. Shout out to our sister Rosalind in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Nigerians equal scammers. Prove me wrong. Hey, I'm with you. I don't need to prove you wrong. I agree. I agree. At this point in time, I agree until I'm proven otherwise. Shout out to A. Jones, Friedman, not Friedman. Absolutely. They act like they're colonizing cousins, North Africa. You are absolutely correct, sister. You are absolutely correct. Now, let's get into what Godfrey had to say right here, shall we?
Much as I defend Black Americans, I get stuff where they go, "You're not Black American, you African," right? And I go, "Eat a dick." How about that?
It's important. I got to play that back.
As much as I defend American, you African, right? And I go, "Eat a dick." Or they'll go, you're not Black American, you African," right? And I go, "Eat a dick." They'll go, you're not Black American, you African," right? And I go, "Eat a dick." How about that? That's what I do, because I'm like, what are you talking about? I grew up in Chicago. Yeah. That's a very Black city. Chicago's history of Black Americans is heavy. Jack and Jill, you got the Chicago Defender. A lot of stuff started in Chicago. The Obamas, the Obamas, Minister Farrakhan, he's like Nation of Islam. There's so much just so much in Chicago. And my father was an educator for 45 years at Malcolm X College. You know what I mean? That's pretty Black. Yeah. Taught on the west side of Chicago. Right. Yeah. My father had adult education programs for gangster disciples, Blackstone Rangers, and vice lords. Gangbangers knew my dad. You don't get no, and cats be like, "Yeah, your dad taught me how to read, dog. For real, we got your pops." I mean, and my mother was a nurse an OB-GYN nurse who delivered so many people's babies. My mother was known in Chicago, so our Blackness was mended with Black Americans. Most of my friends were Black Americans, and of course there were immigrants, because in the area I lived in Chicago was the most integrated area in Chicago.
Nigga, please.
Did you take a stupid pill with your breakfast this morning, Admiral?
All right, family. So it's time for another. Family, I'm going to ask a very simple question. And I just want a very simple answer. We're going to go yes or no. We're going to play a little game. Yes or no. Okay? So here's the question. And feel free to ask these tethers the same question. If a man go to live with wolves and took on the mannerisms of the wolf, which means, he walks around on all fours, he eats like the wolf, he sleeps like the wolf, he shits like the wolf. He grew up his whole life with wolves. When that man get taken into society, will that man be a wolf? Or will that man still be a man? He's still a man. Okay, great, perfect. Now here's the next question. If a man go and live with birds, and he's lived with birds his whole damn life, if he jumps off a cliff and flap his arms, will he be able to fly? Okay, still a man. Wolfman Jake. Still a man. All right. Here's the kicker. If a man goes and lives with a bunch of sheep, and he lives with the sheep, he grows up with the sheep, he sleep with the sheep, shit with the sheep, eat with the sheep, when he wakes up, will he have all of the wool of a sheep? Or will he still be a man? I ask simple questions because simple questions demand simple answers. And here's another simple question. If somebody comes to America as a Nigerian, move into the Black neighborhood as a Nigerian, worked in the neighborhood as a Nigerian, then they have a child, and that child is brought up by those Nigerian parents, but he kicked it around Black Americans. He was always around Black American culture. But when he goes home, his parents are still Nigerian. When he grows up, does that make him a Black American? Or does that still make him a Nigerian American who grew up around Black people? These are simple questions that demand simple answers. This isn't too complicated. Please, all the tethers in the back of the classroom, open your ears or come to the front of the classroom if you're here today. Nigerian. A tether Nigerian. He's not FBA. He's still a Nigerian. A Nigerian. Nigerian all day. Shout out to us as a cultural superpower in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. So, why is this so hard to understand? Proximity to foundational Black Americans does not make you foundational Black American. It doesn't make you a Black American. Just because I invited you over my house to have some soul food does not make you a soul brother. Just because I invited you into my house and treated you like a brother, that does not mean your bloodline changes to what mine is. Even if I invite you to my house and you stay for a full damn week, you still got to go home to Nigerian parents who still cook Nigerian food, who still have your house decorated in a bunch of, Nigerian interior type stuff. Your culture will not change just because you like someone else's culture better. Your culture does not change due to you being in proximity to us. That's just going to show how much love we gave you. And they know these things. This isn't a new concept, family. Georgia, the jungle, was raised around monkeys. He could swing from trees. He can go ahead and do all these other things. But you know what? He was still, at the end of the day, he was still a man. He was still a man. He could still bang Jane and have a little jungle baby. Because he was a man. He didn't turn into an ape. He didn't turn into a monkey. He didn't turn into a tiger, a lion, a bear, oh my. He remained a man. Let's be very clear. Shout out to our good brother, DSA1 in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Salute to everybody. Just because you assimilate don't make you one of us. Exactly. I can assimilate into Japanese culture. It doesn't make me Japanese. I can assimilate into Mexican culture. That doesn't make me a Mexican. I can assimilate into Nigerian culture. I don't know why I would want to, but anyway, I digress. It doesn't make me a Nigerian. At the end of the day, family, it's just going to show how desperate these people are to destiny swap. And I wonder if you talk to your parents like this. When you talk to your parents, do you tell them that I'm a Black American, or do they tell you you're Nigerian? Do they tell you you're acting like an Akata? Oh, to be a fly on the wall at one of their family dinners, but I'm glad I'm not because it'll probably smell horrible as hell. Family. Here was the next disrespectful thing.
What's wrong? Gabrielle said, yeah, they keep making fun of me being African. And she goes, and I will never forget. She goes, well, at least their ancestors weren't slaves. See, at least you have something to connect to. They don't. It's coming. And I go, wow, that's the truth. She goes, that's coming from trauma. That's coming from insecurity. Yeah, but you don't understand that as a 12-year-old. You're just like, they're just making fun of most of your
family. We ain't got nothing to hold on to, but y'all trying to hold on to our lineage. Make that make sense. Can somebody please make that make sense? At least you got something to reach back to and hold on to, but y'all not reach back into it and holding on into that. You're trying to reach back and hold on to something that you was not a part of, nor was your family. Exactly, my sister. This is coming from projecting. This is class A projection. This is projection at its finest. And he's supposed to be a writer for us? When he quite literally said, that's right, they don't have nothing to tie themselves to. Negro, we built the most predominant country in the world. We're the only people that don't flee the land in which we come from because we built the best country in the world. Oh, we got something to hold on to and reach back to. It's called our ancestors here and the great things that they did here to pave the way for us to be here. Unlike your ancestors over there who didn't do that for you over there. And so we had to pave the way over here to bring your ancestors, your family over here. But go ahead.
No doubt. Yeah. And I was just going to add to that. This is like that trauma I get now as an adult, but I don't think a lot of, like Black Americans understand the trauma that also caused, because, if you're participating, you saw it throughout movies, you saw it throughout music. I mean, all of it kind of crapped on the Black African immigrants who came to this. And anyone who denies it or says, as I saw in some of the comments, get over it. That was then. Whoa. Now we say get over it. Yeah. Now we say get over it. Like there's a conversation there, right?
Let me tell you something. Bald man. Us saying never forget slavery is because a debt is owed for that. And because if you do not know history, you're doomed to repeat it. That's number one. Number two, you're talking about somebody making fun of you as a kid that you've held on to since you were, 14, and now you're damn near 40. Yeah, get over it. That's number one. Number two, we don't have to give a damn about the trauma that it brings you to call you names that we are already calling each other. We was playing the dozens with each other before y'all even got over here, before we knew what an African was. So what the hell kind of trauma would it cause you if we were doing the same thing to each other? And it made us stronger. It made us way stronger. Hell, and the Africans that took heed to it, it made them stronger. You can ask your Michael Blacksons about that. Michael Blackson says it out of his own damn mouth. I was raised over here, and they used to clown me all the time. He said, but that just made me strong, and it made me funnier because I knew how to clown with them. So that put me on a different level. Now, Michael Blackson has said some other problematic things, but I can give credit where credit is due. He did make sure that he said, yeah, I got clowned, but guess what? That made me who I am today, and I am one of the coldest roasters because of it. Now, I don't know if that's too much true, but I will give him his flowers and credit. He is pretty funny when he's funny. But the point is, you saying At least he got something to tie back to. At least he got something to tie back to. Sir, you're trying to leech onto our culture while trying to disrespect things that we do in our culture to make people strong enough to be a Black American in this country and not have to worry about all the racism that you said earlier is so tiring. It's so tiring. That was the point of playing the dozens. So that we wouldn't be tired out and we can continue to fight. We have an outlet and we can continue to fight. But you folks, yeah, you're way too slow to pick that up. Shout out to our good brother Christopher Ellis in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here and thank you for your super chat. Your donation is blessed tenfold and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. Stop whining about what we need to do after you've been eating off of our labor and now you want us to put your feet up? F out of here. You absolutely right, my brother. They got the game messed the hell up. But today we getting some straightening. We're getting some straightening. Let's go here because I got to get some straightening on this side too. Now, this next brother that I'm about to play, this is not a dig towards this brother. Not at all. Much love to him, but I have to correct something that he's going to say. Because everybody needs to understand the gravity of the situation at hand. So let's go here. Now, this brother is an FBA brother as well. However, he's going to say something that I need to correct. Let's go.
American, but culturally, I identify as white.
Have you heard of Foundational Black Americans?
Yeah, I actually just had a debate with Tariq Nasheed yesterday, I believe, or the day before.
You debated Tariq Nasheed. What was the debate about?
My problem with him was I believe that FBAs are creating division.
You consider yourself a cultural white person. Why does a cultural white person give a damn about what Black Americans do in our culture?
Because at the end of the day, biologically, I'm still...
Motherfucker, you don't identify as us. You identify as white.
Sir, culturally, I identify as white. It's a difference between actually... I'm still Black, right? I can't say that I'm not Black.
No, you're not. No, Black is not just a skin color. It's a skin color plus culture. If you remove the culture, you are not Black, which is why we call people like Candace Owens a sellout, which is why we call people like Myron Gaines a sellout, which is why we call people like Andre Williams, Anton Daniels fucking sellouts. So no, you are not Black if you do not culturally see yourself as Black. Does that make sense?
I get what you're saying, but I'm not causing any harm to the Black community. I'm just simply identifying with the people that raised me.
If you're saying we're being divisive, those are sellout. That gives sellout energy, but how are we being divisive?
Okay, so for example, when I was on an FBA's panel, they were literally making derogatory terms towards people of African descent, calling them slurs and stuff. How is that not being divisive?
Do Africans have derogatory words for us?
I mean, I haven't, and I don't, not that I'm aware of.
That's not the question I asked you. Either you know or you don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know, right? Yes, they do. It's called a kata. Go look that up. There's a video on my page where Godfrey, a Nigerian American, was breaking down the word akata and what it means. Go look that up. Go look up what a jareer is, right? Go look those terms up.
I mean, it doesn't seem productive, but I guess, yeah.
But what the fuck do you care? You're a white cultural man. So what the fuck do you care what Black Americans do?
Because I'm just trying to help you guys fix your community.
We don't need help with our community. Go fix your community. The white on white crime rates are just as high as the Black on Black crime rates. I said the white on white crime rates are just as high as the Black on Black crime rates. Is that true?
There's more white people.
I think Tariq Nasheed probably washed you, didn't he?
No, he didn't wash me.
Yes, he did. It was laundry day. He said, I'm putting this culturally white man in the wash.
What Black people do? You guys steal other people's culture.
You culturally white man, you. Why are you coming here crying to us? Tariq Nasheed washed you, didn't he? I know he did.
Let me ask you a question.
I know he did. I know that Tariq Nasheed washed you, my friend.
If I'm born in the United States and I don't come from Africa or the Caribbean or anywhere else, I'm not Black American just because my adopted parents are white. Make that make sense.
No, my friend. So for instance, comedian Godfrey is a cultural Black American. So if we received reparations right now, I would fight for Godfrey, a Nigerian, to get those reparations because he's culturally Black American.
That's where we have to differ. I was with you all the way up until you got to that part right there. Now, when you was out there saying, why the hell do you care about our culture when you are culturally a white man? Why do you give a damn about what we doing over here? I was with you. And then when you told him that Tariq probably washed him, he was a white cultural man thrown in the wash, I was with you. And then when you got to the part where Godfrey is culturally a Black American, I was like, And then when you said, when reparations come, I would fight for him to get reparations, even though he's Nigerian. And that right there was the biggest hell to the no. That was the biggest hell to the no. That was a boo moment. Somebody boo this man. Godfrey, I don't give a damn. And let me just say it like this. It's not just about Godfrey. Because then what you're doing is trying to open up the door for anybody who grows up around black people to say, well, I'm culturally black, so I should get reparations too. Hell to the no. Hell to the no. If your family lineage does not tie back to the slave fields here in America, if your family lineage does not tie back to the beginning of America, the builders of America, the quite literal foundation of America, you don't get nothing. And anybody who fights for them to get something, I will personally take it up as my God-given duty to fight against it and bring up everywhere you are. I will pop up and I will make sure there is opposition to that nonsense. Nobody on this land here that our ancestors built is owed anything but the descendants of our ancestors who built this. I don't care where you grow up. I don't care where you grow up. Drake is not culturally foundational Black American, but guess what? Drake is actually somebody who qualifies for reparations here in America. I can't stop him. Why? Because he comes from that lineage. I might not like it, but he has the blood. So culturally, he's not a foundational Black American. But when it comes down to the discussion of reparations and his bloodline, he qualifies. Godfrey or anyone else does not. Godfrey and everyone else does not. And yes, my sister, I do know he's Canadian, but his father is an FBA from Tennessee. So he would qualify. His bloodline is there. I don't like it. I truly don't. Trust me when I say. But he would still qualify. Unless... No, he could still use his father. What you say? Drake is a Rothschild descendant. Shut up. You gotta be joking me. Oh, that's what they said about Epstein too. So I don't know. It could be true. From his mom's side. You know, they say Lincoln was also a Rothschild bastard baby. You know, there's a lot of Rothschild bastard babies going around apparently. You know, I'm gonna look into that though. That's crazy. If that's the case, then it makes so much more sense why he has this colonizer mindset in the way that he does, right? Like, not only was he raised by a white woman, but he's raised by one of the white women that comes from one of the most wealthy races on the planet. When they talk about riches, and this is one thing, I know I'm digressing right now, but this is something that you all might find very interesting. Whenever you see a top 10 richest list, you never see anybody like the De Beers on that list. You never see anybody like the Rothschilds on that list, who changed their name to Rothschilds later on. You never see people like the Bakers or Van Rose on that list. There are so many families that will never be on a top 10 list. The Rockefellers will never be on the top 10 list. Well, they probably are now because they're not as wealthy as they used to be. But back then, they kept the wealthy silent, very silent, in the very same way they try to keep it silent now. They still don't put the Rothschilds on any wealth list, but yet you see them in every area where it's predominant, like any area of wealth or class, right? You got Nathan over there as a goddamn knight right now. So the powerful aren't listed. So I wouldn't be surprised if Drake was a part of that family. I wouldn't be surprised one bit, to be honest with you. It would all make sense. It would all make sense. Why Lucian loves them so much, it would all make sense. But back to what we're saying over here. If you're not a foundational Black American, I don't give a damn. You do not get it. You do not get reparations. You do not deserve reparations at all. And nobody within our community should be pushing for anybody outside of our community to get reparations just because they grew up around us. I grew up around some Jewish people. I didn't get reparations when they got it. When Obama put through that $12 million for the Jews, I didn't get it because I grew up around some Jews. There were some Jews in my neighborhood at some point in my damn life. When Joe Biden was talking about the $250,000 for all the illegals that was separated from their families at the border, I didn't get that because I had some illegals in my goddamn city when I was growing up. I grew up around illegals. That type of thinking don't make sense for anybody else unless it's foundational Black Americans for some damn reason. And I say hell to the nay-no. Hell to the no. Now, let's get back to the escort and the very next person that he's escorting on in, the tether escorting another tether.
Here we are, Joy Weed. Look at her. There she is. Fake news. Can you believe?
With a shirt that says immigrants make America better. Shout out to our brother Hebrew Native in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here, as well as Rashawn in the building. Much love to both of you and thank you for being here, family. Much love, much love.
Just had an interview with her. It was so fantastic. She was asking me good questions because usually they're so terrible. Joy Reid, had to get her off TV. I couldn't stand her. I had to get rid of these black reporters. But here she is. She has her own show and she's back with her bullshit again. Can you believe it? Look at her. Look at immigrants make America great. I hate you so much. But I had to be on her show because I'm a social media whore. That's why. But look at Joy Reid. She's just so happy. Look at, she thinks she's smart. She went to Harvard. She got so lucky. I'm surprised. It had to be DEI. I'm sure it was. Look at her. Oh, I'm sorry. But anyway, Joy Reid, look at her. Fake news. Here we are.
As I stated, their podcast is called 154 Africa. You're bringing on Joy Reid to your podcast. You would think that this Congolese, Guyanese woman, and just so y'all know, they know that she is Congolese. They know she is not a Black American. They know that she has no tie to it. They made sure to put out this picture, a Congolese, Guyanese American. They know who Joy Reid is. But yet, y'all got her on the platform talking a bunch of nonsense like this. Oh yeah, we're going to get into this. Africans sold other Africans into slavery, ? As if that isn't a freaking historical fact. Let's go.
And I think there's a sense that African people sold us away and forgot about us. But they forgot.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a little leeway with the sold us away and forgot about us, because you're half Guyanese, right? Okay, so you're half Caribbean, so you do have some bloodline that was sold away. So I will give you that. I will let you say us, but you're not meaning us as in me and you. You're meaning the broader sense of people who were sold. Okay. Because if you mean us as in foundational Black Americans, you don't qualify. You can relate to your, Caribbean people when you say us, but don't say us as if you're talking about foundational Black Americans and yourself. Continue.
Yet those people were destroyed. You as Michael Harriot said, and we had him on for our Black History special, if Black people were selling other Black people, why did you need a fort? If this was a transaction that was mutual and the kings of Africa were just selling off Black, well, then why did you need to build giant forts? You build giant forts because you were having wars with those kings who you were stealing their people.
All right, family. I want y'all to give me 1 second. I want y'all to really screen record or whatever you need to do, because I'm about to just put an end to that right now. I'm going to put it into that right now. She said, why did they have forts if the Africans were selling other Africans into slavery? Family, quick question. Where are all of those forts in which she speak about? Where are they located in Africa? Can anybody tell me? It's a real simple answer. Where are Elmina Castle and the castle out in Ghana? Where are they located? Yes, in Ghana and in Senegal and things like that. I mean, there we go. Thank you, my sister Angelic. The coast. The coast is where they're located. And why are they located on the coast? Because of the fact there's a book, and I'll pull it up, but I'm not going to go through and find exactly where this is as of now. But this is a book, a new account of some parts of Guinea. Now, this is about the slave trade. In this book, the writer, William Snellgrave. It's kind of hard to see. I have to pull up. There we go. William Snellgrave. Captain William Snellgrave. In this book, he mentions how they were getting the slaves. And the reason why those castles are on the coastal areas is because they used to march the slaves to the coast to sell them. Sometimes kings would do it. Sometimes queens would do it. But the reason why those castles are there is because that's where they will hold the slaves until they were ready to ship out. So these different tribes would go into Africa and use their already established networks, because they were already, this book is from the 1700s. They had already established 1734. They had already established the trade way before the Nabisco hit that land. Why and how? The slave trade started with the Arabs. When the Arabs started really brutalizing these folks in the way that they were brutalizing these folks sent out a kite to the Portuguese. And I'm glad that that man brought up Dr. John Henrik Clarke, because if you listen to Dr. John Henrik Clarke, he spoke about this. The reason why Africa is the way that it is because they keep inviting the Nabisco in, and the Nabisco continues to destroy them. So Ethiopia invites in the Portuguese in order to help them with the Arab, and the Portuguese went over there, helped them with the Arab, and then turned around and got involved in the slave trade. Dr. John Henrik Clarke spoke about this. These people have been making deals with these Nabiscos for centuries. For centuries. Now, I will put the link to this book in here because it is quite a reader. I'm going to drop the link right here. When you guys have time, you can check it out. But this book quite literally details and documents how they would walk up the coast and the tribes would walk out of the woods, onto the coast with the slaves they wanted to sell. And then they would sell them for things like guns, for things like alcohol, mirrors, different little trinkets. But that's not it. Let's go back over here to what else she had to say there. Go ahead, Joy, so I can go ahead and bring up my next point.
You wouldn't need a fort if you were selling and buying.
And that's something that people like. That's the information that gets passed out a lot. You know, well, your people sold.
They love to throw that out.
Like,
your burden off them.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, because the history gets distorted that way, and it minimizes. And I've always been a person, and I know they trash me online, but I want to know, like, what is the connection point? Because you said it once that happened, it cut the connection. I literally physically saw it when you said that, almost like a cord being like, is there ever going to be a connection point between African immigrants and Black Americans?
It's already happening
now.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
If you go to Ghana right now, you will see African Americans on every street. Yeah. They're getting their residency, they're getting their citizenship.
Family, no. No, and they know. You know what? Before we get to that Ghana point, let me back it up a little bit. She is Congolese. That means she has a blood tie to the Congo, correct? Okay. She's saying Africans wasn't selling other Africans. That wasn't really the case. Right? That's what she said. I wrote a paper about this a while back, so I'm glad I still have this bookmark. This is an excerpt from the letter of King Nzaga Mbembe, who changed his name to Alfonso I. And in this letter, he wrote to the King of Portugal. Why? Let's read the annotations, shall we? In 1526, the King of the Congo, Nzinga Mbemba, who by this time has adopted the Christian name Alfonso I, began writing a series of 24 letters to the Portuguese king, appealing for an end to the slave trade. Well, why? Oh, we're going to get into it, family. We're going to get into it. While a trading relationship has been in place between Portugal and the Congo since 1480s, someone put it in the chat, a relationship existed between them and the Portuguese since the 1480s. Alfonso was increasingly unhappy that the relationship between both countries has degenerated, I'm tripping, into one of which the slave trade had become increasingly important. This source is a part of the Christianity and slavery in the Kingdom of Congo, 1480s to the 1520s. Now, what was the problem at hand that made him write these series of letters, these 24 letters to the Portuguese who, they wanted to end the slave trade? Why are they now writing? Why did Alfonso I end up writing 24 letters? Because they started enslaving his own damn people. Instead of taking the slaves that they were selling them, the Portuguese said, yeah, that's not enough. So now we're going to start taking you. Don't believe me? Okay, let's get into the text. Let's get into the actual letter here. Yeah, here we go. Sir, Your Highness should know how our kingdom is being lost in so many ways that it is convenient to provide for the necessary remedy. Since this is caused by the excessive freedom given by your agents and officials to the men and the merchants who are allowed to come to this kingdom to set up shops with goods and many things which have been prohibited by us, and which they spread through our kingdom and domains in such an abundance that many of our vassals, whom we had in obedience, do not comply because they have the things in greater abundance than we do. And it was with these things that we had them content and subjected under our vassalage and jurisdiction. So it is doing a great harm, not only to the service of God. You got your nerve to bring up God. But the security and the peace of our kingdom and state as well. Let's get into the juice, shall we? As we cannot reckon how great the damage is, since the mentioned merchants are taking every day our natives, sons of the land, and the sons of our noblemen. Let's say that again. Got to run that back. Since the mentioned merchants are taking every day our natives, sons of the lands, and the sons of our noblemen, and vassal and our relatives, because the thieves and men of bad conscience grab them wishing to have things and wares of this kingdom. So what is he saying here? You guys, we was doing business with you for all this damn time, and y'all started going after our people. You started going after our children. You started going after our noblemen, all to get the things that we have here that are greater than the things that you have. Oh yeah, we're not going to play this game. Africans wasn't selling other Africans. They've been selling Africans for some time now. And it was not out of necessity. It was out of pure profit. Let's continue. And the wares of this kingdom, which are, excuse me. Sorry, I had to, got a text message. Where was I? Here. And the wares of our kingdom, which are ambitious of, they grab them and get them to be sold. And so great, sir, is the corruption and licentiousness, excuse me, that our country is being completely depopulated. And your highness should not agree with nor accept it as it in your service. And to avoid it, we need from those kingdoms no more than some priests and a few people to reach in schools, and no other good except wines and flour for the holy sacrament. Family, they said get them kids too. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. This is what happened. You ain't hearing Joyless Reed talk about this, but this is what happened. This is the letter from Alfonso I to the King of Portugal. You can look this up yourself. Did they get him too eventually? Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe they did. That might have been that might have been the last letter. That's probably why it was only 24. He probably had a 25 series, and he couldn't get the 25th one out before they came and grabbed him. They are selling their own now. Absolutely, my brother. But let Joy Reid tell it. This isn't the situation. This isn't the case. They were only selling each other out of necessity to make sure that their people wasn't sold away. When they had centuries of business deals with these people. Centuries. Now, family, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat as well. In case anybody would like to keep this here, read over it a little bit later, use it against somebody, whatever you need. It is now in the chat, family. Like I said, the only people that's going to tell the truth is us. Shout out to Soulfully Sowing Seeds in the building. Much love to you, and thank you for being here. Thank you for this comment. In present day, Hamites are still selling their own people in Africa to Arabs. Till this day. Till this very day. Shout out to our sister Faith Speaks Life. Thank you for your Cash App donation. My sister, your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good sister, as always. Let's get back over here to what Joyless was saying.
They're moving back, they're reinvesting. Africans, we reconnected.
Between African immigrants and Black Americans.
It's already
happening
now.
now.
It's happening now.
Yeah.
If you go to Ghana right now, you will see African Americans on every street. They're getting their residency, they're getting their citizenship, they're moving back, they're reinvesting. Africans, we reconnected the umbilical cord ourselves. And that's why people, you always talk about white people are mad. The 1619 Project was one of those moments where Black people said, no. We're going to recreate our own history. We're going to tell our own story. And that story does not mean that we come from slavery.
Joy.
We? We.
Number one, there should be no we in any of this. But let's backtrack a little bit into the Ghana thing. You say that this is already happening. We are reattaching the umbilical cords ourselves. So many of us move back to Ghana and all this other stuff. Family, I've already said this stat already. 1,500 to 5,000 people from America moved over to Ghana. And that's not all foundational Black Americans. That is just people who moved from America to Ghana. That is it. That is all. We didn't go over there in droves. We didn't go over there trying to we're going back home. Yeah. The majority of us stayed right here. We're in that land our ancestors built. Excuse me. But for all the people who may think about going over there to Ghana, and for everybody who went over there to Ghana, let me say this to you. You don't need to go over there because all they're going to do is drain you of your resources like a foreigner, and then they're going to blame you for displacement. Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong, family. They begged Black Americans to come home to Ghana. Come home to Ghana. But yet, when they get there, they're treated horribly. Their houses are done in ways that nobody else's are done. They are charged in the way nobody else is charged. They are treated in the way nobody else is treated. They're not treated like brothers and sisters. They're treated like strangers and who you are renting a room to. Actually worse. And for all the people who might be thinking about going over to Africa and relocating over there and all that other stuff, when I say they're blaming you right now, they're blaming foundational Black Americans for displacing Ghanaians in Ghana. And most of us, the majority of us, didn't even go over there. You think I'm joking? Let's go here.
Ghana invited Black Americans home. Locals are being priced out. So what went wrong? To fully understand this, we have to go back to 2019 when Ghana launched its Year of Return campaign, a government-led invitation for people in the African diaspora to journey home. 400 years after the arrival of the first enslaved Africans to Virginia, Ghana followed up with Beyond the Return, a 10-year strategy focused on investment, tourism, and resettlement. But the story of return is more complicated on the ground. For many Ghanaians, it's starting to feel like they're being priced out of their own homes. Just take a look at one night out in Accra. A VIP table at a major concert can cost thousands of dollars. An after party is usually around $50. That means a single group might spend more in a few hours on tickets, bottle service, and Ubers than a public school teacher earns in a month. In areas like East Legon and Osu, rents have doubled or tripled since 2019, and many landlords are requiring a year to 2 years rent up front to move in. It's technically illegal, but it's still happening.
It's getting out of hand, and nobody's talking about the government. Nobody's talking about it.
Accra is getting gentrified. On top of that, Ghana is currently undergoing its 17th International Monetary Fund debt bailout. This typically means that the government accepts loans in exchange for implementing what the IMF calls structural adjustments, like cutting public jobs and social spending, privatizing state assets, and opening markets. For Ghanaians, that leads to increased taxes, higher fuel prices, and other austerity measures that heavily impact their quality of life. Meanwhile, the World Bank encourages Ghana to lean on heritage tourism as a way to boost its economy. That is why the Ghanaian government is inviting the African diaspora home. So is it really about solidarity and reconnection, or is it simply a money grab?
This is the million-dollar question that people have been asking since the Year of Return. I believe that it was both. You know, it started as a Pan-African nation state by Kwame Nkrumah. So Ghana has a very long history of creating government initiatives that reach out to the African diaspora and encourage them to come home, essentially. On the Year of Return website, they marketed the Year of Return as a, it's like a spiritual, birthrights, connection, people coming home. But on the Visit Ghana website, it was marketed as a year-long, marketing initiative. So I think the Ghanaian government was trying to do both, trying to bring people home, but also trying to get, trying to bring the tourism dollars.
While visitors in the diaspora come for spiritual reconnection, cultural celebration, and refuge from racism and violence in the West, their presence in Ghana has driven up prices, displaced residents, and deepened class divides.
Family, that's not what Joyless Reed has been saying, has she? You see, all of this is always a cash grab when it comes to us. Everybody is trying to dig into our pockets. Come home, come home, come home. And for the very few people that believe that little notion, that little talking point, come home, the year of the return, they are now being blamed for something that had nothing to do with them, while they're still being pushed out and charged and treated as foreigners over there. And as our sister Aquarius just so elegantly asked, do you think they talk about the Asians in this way? There was more Asians that have become Ghanaian citizens than foundational Black Americans. They're not talking about the Asians. There was white people that went over there and got that citizenship. They're not talking about the white folk. There was other Africans that went over there and got that citizenship. They're not talking about those folk. The only people that they're blaming is the people that they begged to come back to the damn country, which is foundational Black Americans. And the very little that decided, okay, let me take them up on this offer, they're now being blamed for displacing a bunch of people who was trying to use them as a cash grab to begin with. Shout out Soulfully Sowing Seeds. The jig is up, and you are absolutely correct. So yeah, no. There is no reconnecting the umbilical cords ourselves. Foundational Black Americans has reconnected our umbilical cords right here to this land. Not to Ghana, not to Nigeria, because that's not our lands. And even though we tried to hold solidarity with you guys pushed that solidarity right out the window until you needed it. And now that you need it, you ain't got it. The only thing you got is a pushback hairline and a forehead that look like I can tap dance like Fred Astaire. Fun fact, me and Fred Astaire actually share a birthday. Just saying, want to throw that out. But still, you know, I go dancing up the, you know how Fred Astaire danced up the wall? I go dancing up her forehead. Let's let her get back into it.
Don't come from slavery. You all come from oppression. You guys come from robbery and theft. And you need to own that. But we are starting to like tell our own story and reconnect ourselves to Africa and really invest in Africa and realize there's a huge bounty of human capacity, of financial capacity, and that together we're like the most powerful weapon on earth.
Yeah, I feel that energy. I've done 9 countries. I want to go to more countries in Africa. I want to do all 54.
Same.
I want to be able to go to Madagascar and say I met somebody from Madagascar. But like what I
and bring back a wife for your friends.
But what I love is like there is this similarity and this connection through all of the countries I've been to in Africa. Like there is this connection that I feel the same being here, growing up in America. And I'm like, I just want to see and minimize or eradicate the confusion that is the distrust or the pointing fingers at each other. Well, you guys are this way, or you look down and you think you're better. You're an African booty scratcher.
Well, how do you think they stole us?
Yeah.
I mean, their method was to say, hey, tribe number 1, sell me somebody from tribe number 2, or give me your prisoners of war from that tribe. They're not, remember, these people didn't think of themselves as all Black. You're this tribe.
Now, family, remember, I just showed you, I just proved right here that they've been having relationships with these goddamn Nabiscos, the Portuguese to be more specific in this case, for centuries. And this is in the land in which her bloodline actually comes from the Congo. You don't think she knows this history? Go off.
Bomb that tribe. If I have prisoners of war from the other tribe, okay, I'm going to go ahead and let them go to you. And then they got greedy and said, you know, it's not enough for me to give you prisoners of war. I'm going to go back and just take people, right? But it did start out as, I'll take my prisoners of war. They didn't think it was going to be endemic slavery forever. Right. And then once they got greedy and were like, come and taking people, then there were the fights. But even in the Caribbean, like, there are a lot of African Americans.
Joy. Let me explain something to you. If I sell a skateboard, I don't give a damn what happens to that skateboard because that skateboard now belongs to the person that I sold it to. So if that person go and break the skateboard over somebody else's back, me saying I didn't know he was buying the skateboard to break over somebody else's back, that really wouldn't mean nothing. The skateboard was still broke over somebody else's back, and I didn't care at the time when I was selling it what it was going to be used for. I didn't care whether they was going to skate on it or let the dog skate on it or train the cat to skate on it. I didn't care if they were just going to hang it on the wall. I didn't care because I sold a product. That good is no longer in my possession. It is your possession. It is your good. What do I give a damn what you do with it? And that's the exact thinking of all those people that were selling slaves back in the day. Do not try to make it seem like if they would have known what was going on, they would have switched up the position, because that was not the case, because many of them knew what other tribes was doing all across the African continent. And they didn't give a damn. They continued to do it. The Dahomey became one of the most egregious slave traders known in the continent. They knew what was going on, and they became the most egregious. So miss me with all this nonsense about, oh, they didn't know. They didn't know. No, they knew. They damn sure knew. They just didn't give a damn until the shit hit their front door. Once the Portuguese said, you know what? We can actually up our productivity if we start taking some of these locals here and selling them too. They all look the same. Soon as they said that, then it became a problem. Then you had people like Queen Nzinga, who was over there fighting against them, but she was only fighting against them after she was selling to them for decades. After her predecessors was selling slaves to them for decades before her decades. So yeah, we're not going to do all of this revision of history just to make yourself look a little bit better. No. You're a descendant. And as a matter of fact, family, she claims to be a princess. Oh yeah, she claims to be a princess, and that's why she's never returned. But we're going to get to that later. But if she's a princess, that means she must, the bloodline passes on. That means you must be related to the very same people that was enslaving people, riding the King of Portugal, Alfonso I, about the people that was being taken from his land. So that means you would be a part of that slave trader lineage. But we're going to get into that. Let's let her finish.
Americans who think of Caribbean blacks as like foreign, they're probably your cousins. If you're in New Orleans, you're probably Haitian. You know, I mean, if you're in Florida.
New Orleans has nothing to do with Haiti. Haiti has nothing to do with New Orleans. New Orleans has nothing to do with Haiti. Haiti has nothing to do with New Orleans. We've already been over this. The Haitians that came here after that revolution, they weren't even black Haitians. Those were the white Haitians that got pushed out of Haiti, who ran over here, the island of Hispaniola at the time, who ran over here with their slaves because they got pushed out of their damn country. It is not that Haitians came over and contributed to our culture. Stop saying that nonsense. And if you do not have somebody from the Caribbean in your family, then no, you would not be cousins to anybody in the Caribbean. That's just how logic works. Why the hell would you think that you could tell a black American, unless they have a Caribbean person in their family, but if they have no Caribbean person in their family, what makes you think you can go to them? You cannot go to my grandmother, who is from Louisiana, Shreveport, and tell my grandmother that you're probably cousins with the Haitians. My grandmother would slap you in the face. And then she would pray to God and ask God to forgive her for she had to slap a bitch. You can't go to my grandfather, who is Blackfoot, full Blackfoot, and tell my grandfather, you might have a cousin out in Jamaica some damn where my grandfather will slap you across the face. And then pray to the Most High, ask for forgiveness because the deacon had to slap a bitch. Let me be very clear about that. Continue.
You are probably from Barbados because you probably have first cousins in Barbados. You know, they would drop people off in the Caribbean and then sell them to South Carolina. Like the route was often Caribbean, then the U.S.
That's what they were.
All right. The route was the Caribbean, then the U.S. Yes, Africans was taken to the Caribbean, and then 368,000 was brought to the U.S. over a span from the 1500s to when slavery ended in the 1800s. 368,000. So that would mean the majority of the Africans stayed in the Caribbean, was shipped to Central America. There is more evidence to show, and I know y'all hear my microwave in the back. Ignore that, please. There is more evidence to show that we were being shipped out of America. The natives of America, the indigenous blacks, were being shipped out of America. There is more cases that show that we were shipped out more than they were shipped in. It's that simple. Shout out to Tiffany. Yeah, the deacon. My grandfather's actually a deacon too. And my grandmother is really a church woman. And that's why I said they would pray after they slapped a bitch and said, "Dear God, my Lord, please forgive me for I had to slap a bitch." That's just what it is. My grandpa has always been like that. Like I said, he's the one I tell y'all about. The nigga, he's walk around with a deuce Dillinger on his hip. He out here shooting my uncle in the foot. He goddamn threatened to take my daddy out of this world. Like, my grandfather's a real one. A real one. So when I say he might have to slap a bitch, he might just have to slap a bitch. Let's let it continue.
Break slaves usually.
They would break them in the Caribbean, 100%, and then bring them here. So like a lot of people, their first stop was not Virginia or South Carolina. It was Jamaica.
Yeah, that's crazy. Damn. Well, remember,
we could go on.
We still here.
Yeah, we survived.
I can feel.
Who the hell is we? Who in the hell? Somebody tell me, who is we?
We? We.
I count 1, 2, 3 Africans sitting in this goddamn podcast room, and none of them was enslaved here in America. Who the hell is we?
Feel it, Virgin. I can feel it connecting. You got Gabon. You got Ludacris lives in Gabon. He has a place in Gabon.
Yeah.
Citizen Gabon. So it's coming around.
It's coming.
They're
That's why we have.
That's why they're panicking and they're counting on our not being together. Like because we're all we got. Dr. Henry Clark says we have no friends in the world. People don't have friends.
How do you know that Dr. Henry Clark said that black people have no friends in the world? He didn't say black people have no friends in the world. He said we as black people. So he was talking about foundational black Americans, which he is, and he also included not even an African. So you cut that part out of what Dr. John Henry Clark said to try to make your point better, but you would know that part, but you didn't know that Dr. John Henry Clark said that the Africans invited their own oppression into their countries, and that's why they're in the state that they're in today. You didn't hear Dr. John Henry Clark say that, but you heard him say that black people have no friends. And there is not a black American in the room to correct these idiots.
He meant that. Dr. Henry Clark, one of the elders who knows his stuff, we don't have them, regardless of what you think in the whole scope of the world. Our power. There's a girl online, this white chick, she has this machine where she asks questions to the machine. She goes, why is it that black people are always like oppressed, blah, blah, blah. And the machine talks back to her and goes, because of black people's power, is their melanin, is they're native to the, that's the reason why whites try to shut. It's like a machine. Just might go ask these questions about oppression, and it's really good stuff.
You guys seen that video.
I'm gonna send it to you. It's really interesting. And she goes, it's because it's not just it's just black people. It's their power. It's their natural. It's dope. It's like amazing. And she just asked these questions.
It's like when you have a connection to indigeneity, it's actually a powerful thing. It's why when you go and talk to Native Americans, indigenous people, they have a power. They have a spiritual power. They have a connection to the soil and the spirit. And that is an African thing. There's a connection to the earth and the soil and the spirit. And if you can reconnect yourself with that, Europeans work very hard.
How do you have a connection to a land in which you don't belong to? The only people that has a connection here is us. So how are you trying to claim a connection to our ancestral land, a place that our ancestors built, and you're trying to make it about you, and it has nothing to do with you? You have no tie to this soil, so how can you connect with those ancestors? You can't. Just like I can't connect with your African ancestors. I'm not trying to be Ogun. I don't have to be an Orisha or whatever the hell they call themselves, your little Yoruba goddamn gods. I'm not trying to be any of those. I'm not trying to take any of those, even though we know the spirit of Ogun ain't in y'all. But you don't see us over here trying to do that, because we don't tie to that ancestral realm. Our ancestral realm is in a whole different dimension than yours. Go ahead.
To disconnect themselves from that and to eradicate that from what they consider to be high society and being, what they saw as being civilized. But being civilized meant just cutting yourself off from indigeneity. And so, which is what you're seeing, like people who are from Europe that go to Israel try to reclaim, right, and steal back. But what black people have is sort of natural indigeneity. Like we're just naturally indigenous.
You guys are doing the same thing that the Khazar is doing over there in Israel. You're doing the exact same thing that those Europeans that you claim, that you talked about, is doing. Only difference is they went over to Israel to try to steal our identity, and you came to our land over here to try to steal our identity. What are you talking about, Joyless Reed? You're doing exactly what the colonizer has already done. Shout out to Ramona Bryan in the building. Much love to you, my sister queen, and thank you for being here. They never was like us, church. We are cut from a different cloth, and you are absolutely right. And the Most High made sure that we knew that we were not like them. That's why he say not to intermingle with those people in the Bible. Yeah. We wasn't supposed to intermingle with these Hamites. We were not supposed to marry with these Hamites. We were not supposed to love on these Hamites. We were supposed to just love on the Shem. We were supposed to love each other, the Shemitic people of the Most High.
People, the food we eat, the rhythm, the dancing, the music, the gospel. We just took it like we take, spiritual songs and music and turn it into gospel. And I think that's a spiritual, physical experience. And that's an indigenous vibe. And so that vibration is common to everyone Black, whether you're in East.
Did this whore just try to, and I called her a whore. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It was better than calling her the other word I wanted to call her. Did this whore just try to quite literally say that gospel comes from them? Like I said, they're trying to take our culture and try to make it about them. There was no gospel before we created gospel, just like there was no R&B before we created R&B, just like there was no hip hop, just like there was no rock, just like there was no rhythm and blues, just like there was nothing, folk, nothing, until we started doing it. Continue.
Africa, West Africa, Caribbean, Brazil. All we need is to try to get over some of the phony, false separation that Europeans actually used to steal us. And it was a tactic to steal us. And as long as we fight infighting, they can keep stealing us. And so that's how we have to learn.
I want the infighting to stop. Like, the last thing you want is to turn around.
All right, we're gonna go here. Give me 1 second because we got about 10 more minutes before our brother starts on up. So let me go here real quick. I was going to touch on the Sinners reference, but I'm just going to make it very simple and plain like this. She spoke about sinners and how people let the vampires into the juke joint. Sinners wasn't about Republicans or Democrats. So you cannot take a movie that was about our culture and then try to then use it for your benefit to try to make it about Republicans and Democrats. Sinners was about not letting anybody you don't know into the juke joint. They're not one of us. And even the people that they did know, the Asian folks that they let into the juke joint, they were the ones who opened the door. She was the one who opened the door selfishly and let them people in. So this had nothing to do with no Democrat or Republican when we're talking about the juke joint. We're talking about foundational Black American culture. And you are the vampires that we're keeping out of the juke joint. You're the vampire. Busta Rhymes the vampires. Roland Martin's the vampire. Stephen A. Smith is a vampire. All of you are the vampires that we got outside the juke joint, just looking in, trying to sing songs to get on in. Shout out to S. Johnson. That's a great question. Where's the African global gospel artists or jazz or R&B? Our stuff documented. Our stuff is documented. You're absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. But yeah, Joey, you can't tell us about the juke joint when you're sitting outside of it. We're throwing garlic out there trying to get you away from our juke joint. But I do want to skip over here to this part here, so we could talk about this before we get up out of here, family. Hold on. Give me 1 second, family. All right, so all right, so let's go here, family. Oh, what the hell? 1 second, family. My apologies. All right, let's go here.
A real Wakanda, it's the Democratic Republic of Congo. It has every mineral. If there is a real Wakanda, it's the Democratic Republic of Congo. It has every mineral that you need to make this. iPhones, your cell phone, cobalt. It has every mineral, gold, everything. It has every mineral in the greatest abundance on the entire planet. It should be the richest nation on earth. And instead, it's just completely exploited because of Europe and the West. And these companies.
Wrong. It's completely exploited because it allowed itself to be exploited. As Dr. John Henrik Clarke said, your problems all stem from you guys inviting the Nabisco in. Just last year, I showed on this network where the Congo was begging for Trump's intervention with them in Rwanda, and they were willing to give up their resources to do so. And so what happened? They came over here. Trump gave them both a gold coin, patted them on the back and say, all right, now get back to Africa, you bum fucks. And then the resources came over here. And that's how it works around Africa. You guys keep making these shady deals with the Chinese. You keep making these deals with the Europeans. You keep making these deals, and at the end of the day, it's hindering and hurting the people of those countries. That has nothing to do with us. Nothing. So stop blaming us. Stop blaming the West. Stop blaming Europeans when you have been working with the Europeans for centuries. Y'all know how the European operate. You always get the short end of the stick, but yet, you guys don't give a damn. You continue to go and rock with the European. You continue to make these janky ass deals with the European and then come back after you see it's been hurting you, talking about they're taking advantage of us. They're pillaging us. No. This all stems from, like Dr. Claude Anderson said, you guys opening up the door to the Nabisco, making deals with the Nabisco, and creating your own poverty because of it. Shout out to V for Vengeance in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here, family. And shout out to my good brother, AO. Much love to you, and thank you for your super chat. Excuse me, your Cash App. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as always, my good brother. And also a B1 salute to our sister C. Terry in the building. Much love to you. Thank you for being here. Shalom to you. And thank you for your super sticker. Your donation is blessed tenfold, and I appreciate your contribution as well, my sister. Why pay for the cow when you get the milk free? You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct, my sister. And that's what's been going on. We've been getting the milk for free due to some deals. Chinese been getting the milk for free due to some deals. All these other places are getting milk for free because the Africans make these deals. And then when they don't go right for them, they want to blame everybody outside of themselves. They can't hold themselves accountable.
Companies like Apple and all of these oligarchs around the world, they just view it as a place to plunder, like they've always viewed the continent. The continent is just a place to plunder. They don't respect the people there, the governments. That's why I respect the governments like Mali and Burkina Faso, the ones who are selling the off. Like that's what I need.
Love it. Yeah. You think that would spread? I mean, because we get right into it, because I think that's something that you're starting to see. It doesn't get a lot of love and spin on the on the American air. You're seeing a little bit of it kind of on social media, but it still doesn't get a lot of play.
Yeah.
You think that would spread throughout all of Africa?
I wish it would, but to the legend of
Now, family, this is the first time, and I don't know how many episodes they are actually spending time talking about Africa, as in the continent over there. The first time on an African podcast.
That Muammar Gaddafi tried to create that one single gold coin, and you look what happened to him. The West doesn't take too kindly.
And who did it? The tether-in-chief, Barack Obama, took Gaddafi out. You ain't going to say that, though, are you? You Democrat shield. But continue.
To the global South trying to be independent of it. And the idea of a currency on the continent is actually one of the most controversial ideas on the planet, because it would challenge the dollar. And the petrodollar is what keeps the U.S. economy alive. So to me, even when I was at the artist formerly known as MSNBC, I was like obsessively trying to cover BRICS. Americans don't really get international news. Like they don't really.
Not at all.
Family, let me say this about BRICS too, because I've said this time and time again. BRICS, for some reason, is an immigrant's fever dream. They haven't proven themselves to really be able to do anything. They're not really switching the markets up. They're not really working together. I always tell people, until you see it become a problem here in America, everybody talking about it is just wishful thinking. Oil is not the backing. The petrodollar is not the backing. The dollar is not backed by the petro. The dollar is backed by military force. If we didn't have no oil, the dollar would still be in circulation because of the fact that the military is the backing of that dollar. Let me say that again for the people in the back. The US dollar is not backed by the petro. The US dollar is backed by military force. And if you don't understand that, you trying to understand BRICS is not going to help you out.
Not interested
at all.
right?
Well, they make it American centric.
You're right.
Everything, yeah.
Yes.
But then when you go
To keep us
overseas,
misinformed.
you're like, wait a minute.
What
International news. I'm like, what's going on here?
If there is a real Wakanda,
All right. And
Leopold.
yes.
And his horrible stuff. I mean, Congo has been ignored.
Yes.
Even though it's they're still doing what they're doing since King Leopold.
Yes.
And his horrible stuff. I mean, the Congolese history is so bad.
Brutal.
People talk about their costs.
Yeah.
But this one is the one of the worst, and it's still happening.
Mhm.
With the I was watching footage of these miners in Congo. They were pulling each other out of the dirt recently, like laughing,
yeah.
like, "Oh, come on out!"
Yeah.
And getting paid nothing.
Nothing.
And I'm like, no one's talking about it. Sudan, Congo, and everyone's talking about the other places,
Right.
but not
But
because
not there.
anti-blackness is just
It's so real.
everywhere.
Yeah.
We don't count. We just don't
We don't
count.
count. And the reality is,
Yeah.
you know, if there is a real Wakanda, it's the Democratic Republic of Congo. It has every mineral that you need to make this iPhone.
oh, that's not it. I was looking for the clip. Yeah, I was looking for a clip where she actually talks about her father, Joy Reid. And she says that she asked her father, when can they go to the Congo? And her father said, since he used to be, or he was supposed to be the king or the chief or something like that, and he decided not to take it up, whatever. She's technically a princess. And if she goes back to the Congo, they're going to kidnap her. That's what she said. Joy has never been to the Congo, but yet she's speaking about the Congo as if it's Wakanda. Let's be very clear. There's already several Wakandas. And it's right here in America. And I don't mean fictitiously. I mean, there's actually cities called Wakanda here in America. But you're talking about this place as if you've been there and you can't even go back there. Shout out the crew right there, Wakanda in Illinois. Family, to end this off, I want to say this. There are people that we know to be writers. And when I say people we know to be writers, I'm talking about your Kid Gravities and things like that, right? Shout out to him. There are people who actually speak the truth and don't try to throw themselves into it just so that they can have some sort of tie to it. There are people who will speak the truth. But Godfrey ain't it. Godfrey's not it. Godfrey has continuously shown himself time and time again to be a problem. Godfrey has continuously showed himself time and time again to disrespect us, and he do it with like a sleight of hand. So you can like who you want to like. I'm not here to tell you that. You can watch who you want to watch. I'm not here to tell you that either. But you can't tell me that this man is a writer and everything that he's been doing for the past few years has been problematic. Not even the past few years, just some time now. It's been probably about a decade. Now, everybody else, they can rock with Godfrey. I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem with is trying to make it seem like he stands for us. He wants a cookie anytime he regurgitates things we've been saying. He wants a cookie anytime somebody listens to him tell the history. We're supposed to be grateful for him not lying. And a lot of the times, the fact of the matter is, they just want to take your contribution. Let's go here in closing, family. Let's go here in closing. Because even the Africans are getting sick and tired of these podcasters, these African podcasters, talking about nothing but foundational Black Americans. And we'll close with this.
So y'all check out what this Congolese lady had to say about Africans only making podcasts and making like videos about American politics, or really just about Black Americans in general.
I don't know if this is an issue that other people see on African creators on YouTube, but it's really been grinding my gears for like the past 2 or 3 years now, how African creators are obsessed with covering American topics, American politics, American news. But it's like even like American dating culture, all of it, but they never cover their countries. And to me, it's like so crazy. And it's not just American, but some of them specifically only cover like Black Americans. It's like, oh my goodness, this is not, you're not in this climate every single day. You are in Africa. Why don't you cover Africa? And genuinely, I feel like I'm going crazy because like, what do you, like, I don't get it. I kind of get it, I guess, like American consumerism, whatever, but you have a much bigger untapped audience in Africa. Why don't you speak to them directly? You are there. Like, why don't you make content for them? I don't understand this cognitive dissonance. It's like, do you not care to talk to the people you're surrounded by every day? Do you not care to cover your local politics? And then people get online and complain about corruption, this, but you don't know where the corruption is happening exactly because you're too concerned with American corruption and not African corruption. Like, come on, man. We need to do the groundwork here.
So is this accountability that I'm hearing? I'm actually like legitimately shocked, you guys. Like, I was not expecting to hear somebody from that continent. And clearly you can see from her profile, she's got a Congolese flag and some type of foreign name, I'm assuming Congolese name. I don't know what their names look like, but it's in her username, right? So the fact that there's some type of accountability coming from a name like this with a flag like that has me like completely shocked. And I'm glad that I came across this video because it actually piggybacks on one of my last video that I made about that 154 podcast with Godfrey and Akbar, who's all they ever talk about is Black Americans, including the episode that they had on air with Joy Reid, right? That's all they ever talk about is their trauma with Black Americans. It's like, do y'all have anything else to talk about? Apparently your own folks is even starting to notice, like, damn, do we even matter? Do y'all even notice that we exist at all? Why y'all always talking about American politics, American dating, Black Americans this, Black Americans that? Why y'all not focusing on us over here? Why don't y'all start focusing on y'all old people? And they'll come on my shit talking about, oh, well, you always talk about Africans. Yeah, honey, I react just like what I did with this video. The last, whatever videos, it's a reaction. Okay. So y'all's the ones who's always focused on us. And then when we react to your disrespect and all the bullshit that y'all be talking, then y'all want to talk about, oh, well, y'all always be thinking about us too. Nah, bitch, you always talking about us and thinking about us, and we react to that shit. And we address you directly. Okay. That's what we do over here. But we not just sitting around making podcasts out the clear blue sky, talking about some random African nation and what the hell's going on over there. Because we don't care like that, because we don't have to care like that. But y'all be caring about what we got going on over here. Okay, so whatever we talk about that has to do with y'all is purely a reaction to something that you did. Okay, so I'm glad to see that this sister actually took some type of accountability, because that's very rare for you folks.
With that being said, family, maybe they should take the time to concentrate more on Africa. Maybe they should take the time to talk about Africa and the things that's wrong with Africa and how they can fix Africa without us. Maybe you should concentrate your content on helping Africans understand that Africans aren't the enemy of other Africans. Maybe you should take your time, use your time, to travel to different parts of Africa with your podcast and speak to different African leaders over there and ask them about how y'all can bridge the gap between Mali and Ghana and or Nigeria and Congo, or the Congo and Rwanda, South Africa or anywhere else. Why don't you do that? Because you, like myself, quite literally, don't care. You don't care about your people. You don't care about your actual homeland. You don't care about actually trying to bring your homeland into a unified state. You don't care about actually getting the African dollar, you know, to kind of rival the American dollar. You don't care about none of that stuff. All you care about is leeching on and latching on to us. That's it. All you care about is trying to make yourself a foundational Black American, even though you said earlier, what did he say earlier, family? Hold on, I'll run it back real quick, because he said this with his whole damn chest, didn't he? Let's go here. Hold on, because he said this with his whole damn chest. So I want to make sure we remember.
Pressing us. But we fight amongst ourselves because we too pussy to address the real motherfuckers doing this. Enough of this. We all in the same family. Oh yeah, we're all from different parts of the world. Fine. But what is it? What is this silliness? It's foolish, and fuck all of you for like telling me what the fuck I am. And Nigerians that say, oh, you're not Nigerian, you're Americanized, fuck you too. Because I'm proud to be Nigerian. I talk about that. I go visit Nigeria. I got relatives.
If you're proud to be a Nigerian, where at least you know you flee. If you proud to be a Nigerian, then why are you so upset when people say you're not a Black American? Why are you so upset when people say you're not foundational? Why are you so upset and your panties in a bunch when we tell you the truth if you're proud to be a Nigerian? That's because you're not proud to be a Nigerian. That's because you're not proud to be a Nigerian and you're not proud to be an African. Because taking on someone else's history, lineage, and culture, if you were proud to be a Nigerian, you would see that as disrespectful to your Nigerian ancestors. You would find that to be disrespectful to your Nigerian mother, your Nigerian father. You would find it to be disrespectful if you were proud. I'm just saying. That's what a proud Nigerian does. Now, I want to end with this video clip here, and then we're going to close on out. This young lady talks about the corruption in Nigeria and how they're fine with it. Let's go here.
The reason it seems like America took the BAFTA situation elaborately over the United Kingdom is because African people are more complacent. Speaking as a Nigerian too, if I'm thinking of Nigeria and how we approach our government, how we hold them accountable, you will realize that there's a level of complacency because most Nigerians believe that one day, just like the entire world, right, with that are capitalist society, and you can see very evident as in Nigeria is, I'm going to become a millionaire. I'm going to be here and I'm going to become a predator rather than being prey. And every time they're praying to God, they're asking him to find their helper, to locate them, alleviate their situation, and then become a predator. And thinking about like the entire situation with the BRT, the bus girl, people are more against her, complaining that the fact they only have 3 buses and telling her to show up at 3 a.m. for her to get to work that is scheduled for 9 a.m. They're not worried about their faces being in those videos. They're more like, don't record, don't complain, come early. There's a number of people that are fine to be silent and complacent than they are to speak out loud, right? Nigerians live below $2 a day. Forget the wedding that you're seeing. Only very few of us are going to be able to migrate here, go to private schools, have summer vacations. Very few people. And those are the people you see that are migrating across the country. A number of people will never be able to do that. A number of people are going to be bus drivers. They're going to do public transportation. They're going to be poor. The begging Olympics is because Nigerians are in poverty. You can feel that level of frustration and anger when you get into our airport. There's a reason I'm not comfortable flying back to Nigeria. The corruption is not just the government, it's also the people. They're still praying to God that one day they're going to be in the position to suffer other people. It's like,
they're praying to God that one day they will be in the position to suffer other people, make other people suffer. And then they come to America, and who's the other people? Let her talk.
It's not lift as you climb, is stomp them down once you get to the top. And I think, once again, tying it back to BAFTAs, that's probably another reason why in the UK, the British people is more quiet. It's like how they're approaching the conversation is different from the US. But number of people that are there that are Black, they're immigrants. They're coming from a family of immigrants.
And it's like they don't care. They're just here to, like, make ends meet, get what they can get, and go back. Whereas, like, in America, this is Black Americans, your own country too. So you have to be more rugged in how you're approaching the conversation than immigrants who are able to check in mentally and physically and check out of the entire situation. Okay, bye-bye. That's all.
And family, that's what they're over here doing, Godfrey included. But with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead, hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like, share, and hype video, hype button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please click the link in the description, go to change.org, and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, everybody is on the hook. This is FBA season. And if these folks are coming out giving a reason, guess what? Then it's time for you to hit the waters too. Everybody's on the hook. If you cannot respect us, then guess what? You're on the hook too. And that goes for Godfrey and anybody else who claims to be an ally to foundational Black Americans, but love to do the sleight of hand, backhand compliment, backhand in silent and secret. We're done with it. That time is over with. But with that being said, shout out to our sister Rosemary in the building. Much love to you and thank you for being here. The doors of the church are now closed. I'll see you guys over in Alpha Space. Much love to each and every one of you. I would like to thank each and every one of you who's here, who was here, who's going to catch it on the replay. Everybody who donated by Cash App, Super Chat, or anything else. Much love to each and every one of you. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, family. With that being said, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace.
My grandfather built this country, man. He fought wars for it. And most places he went wouldn't let him sit down and get a cup of coffee. I can't even catch a cab in New York. You know, it doesn't matter how many degrees I get. All you people see is color. Your grandfather was an immigrant. You're American. My grandfather was born here, Duke. And you people still look at me as just another nigga.
I know that the government, whatever, can't stand us Black people. He doing everything in the world to make Black man be extinct. But I'm going to tell you one thing. Us Black people going to survive. Yeah. So fuck everybody. I'm off.